Hey,
Hi.
I think we're live.
Yay! We did it. Not my most desired way, but we did it.
Yeah. Let's see.
Here we go. Just damn. One of these days I'm gonna learn. Learn.
Yeah. Friday Night Live Love Fest. Yep, we're live. We're live.
Yay,
What's
y'all.
up?
What's up? Welcome. We have the Metaphysical Mami and Abundant Life Tarot, and we are here on a Friday night.
Back at it again.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. Just my birthday Eve, so I'm excited about that.
Oh, your birthday's tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right. Oh, that's right. You're an Aquarius. Well, happy early birthday.
Yes, thank you. Aquarians in the house. So
One time for you, Aquarius.
Oh yeah. We're here. I'm so excited. I can't even see the little group chat section over here. So okay, maybe the laptop is the way to go.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. Okay, let me fix myself up over here.
And now I'm like, there's this weird blue light.
I see it.
Like,
it's just your halo coming down from, the angels blessing you for your
your birthday. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
You don't like it?
I don't like the blue light. Okay, there we go. The blue light from up above. No thanks. I'm not ready yet. Hold on. Lighting up some candles and getting the mood right for our little discussion about, Valentine's Day. Are you a big celebrator of Valentine's Day?
Well, Valentine's Day is one of those holidays that kind of is like every other holiday. It's forced on us, basically. Yeah. In the spirit of it, it's fine. Typically, I usually get my mom flowers and stuff, and you know what I mean.
Yep.
I don't know, but I think when we're younger, that day it automatically starts to mold the framework of your mind as into you need to be with somebody, or you know what I mean. It's almost like a couple's holiday. If you're not with somebody, that you're less than or something like that. And I don't really like that connotation of what Valentine's Day brings.
Right. I agree. I agree. I guess Valentine's Day was always on the forefront of my mind because my birthday is so near it. So in school back in the day, they would combine my birthday celebration in the classroom with the Valentine's Day celebration. So it was always in the forefront of my mind.
Gotcha.
And it was in recent years, and I'm not recent years, but I just love the idea of spreading love to not just your lover, but to your mom, your friends, your dad, making it more than a Hallmark produced holiday. So
right. Yeah, no, and that makes absolute sense to me, because it's just the one time where everybody really puts the focus on it. But we should really be like that throughout the whole entire year anyways, and just try to spread as much love as we can, even if it is within a small framework of people we surround ourselves with, or whoever we can influence, and things like that. And love is abundant. It's there. It's never, it's non-exhaustive. It's there, but it gets cascaded out by, I think, something that I had said in a old podcast was something along the lines of, it's never the love that hurts, it's the effects of somebody betraying that trust that love kind of entails. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And so there's people like, oh, you know, love is overrated, this and this and that. No, everybody loves to be loved. You know, nobody doesn't want to be loved. Everybody wants to be loved, you know. It's just any kind of betrayal or anything that can taint it. That's the problem that we have, you know, um, with it and associated with whatever. So it's like love scars, basically, and everybody carries different ones.
Yep. Yep. They carry different scars, different wounds, and the wounds are like healed at different levels for each person. So sometimes when a new partner comes in and that wound is still a little bit fresh, or you thought it was healed, but it's not really healed, and your new partner kind of does something that just reminds you of what your old partner did, and then you realize, damn, that wound wasn't actually even healed. It's just kind of scabbed over, but it's still like, it's still there. And we all, like you said, like have those, like as we move through life, we collect those various wounds and carry them. And you could either allow those to kind of dictate your love story, or you can use that to empower your love story, if so to speak. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, and it's really interesting because, you know, love is one of those things that's not really practical. It's not really logical. I mean, it does exist in those realms, right? But it is really mutable in that sense, like the cups suit, you know, it is very like it goes up and then down, and you feel alone, you feel like you're with somebody. And this is like on all levels, not just with like a lover, but this could be in any relationship. It could be with your whoever raised you, it could be with your siblings, it could be with your cousins, it could be with your friends. And you know, it's just, it's really, it's not, what am I trying to say here? It's just one of those things. It's very individual to each person, but while it might seem isolating, it's also important to remember that you are not the only person who's ever felt that way.
That's true.
That there's somebody like it feels like it, but you're not the only person who feels that way. And you know, and it's interesting too, because there's many times where I think if some people might feel it's easy to get addicted to like this pain that gets associated with it. There's this term for it, and I can't put my words on it right now, but it's easy to get caught up in that cycle of things, and like to be comfortable in what you know and not explore other things, you know, explore other things simply because you don't know it, you know. True. So I mean, it's an interesting dynamic, but I mean, when it comes down to it, really it's all about, you know, how you can best really love yourself, and basically ask for the respect of other people to respect you in that way, and not you know, not allow somebody to like cross over that line, and really like set that line and say, okay, no, you're not going to do that with me, because I wouldn't do that to myself. So, you know, I think when we're more naive and we don't know any better, we can get consumed with, you know, how love feels and things like that. But I think as you mature a little bit, you either allow yourself to keep going in those same cycles, or you learn to heal and break away from that, and like allow your adult self to teach your inner child how to love.
I like that.
You know, because I mean, we all have different experiences, you know, but I really feel like no matter who you are, there at some point there is a certain aha moment that happens where you're like, wait, but I can do this for myself. I can do this for myself. And once you start doing it for yourself, you just see all these doors open and all these people flooding you. You know, you basically, that inner world is reflected in the outer world. And it just continues to thrive and grow and things like that.
Yeah, I think that's what people don't realize when they're out searching for love. They're looking out there, out there, out there. Mm-hmm. And it really does begin and end with what's going on here and what's inside. And I know it sounds cliche. A lot of times people are like, oh, I know. It's self-love. It's self-love. I know. You know, when I do readings for people and that when that comes up, or if it came up in my own reading, it's like, oh, damn. Like, I know, but it's true. How can someone else be able to know how to love you more than yourself?
Right.
And you have to be able to set healthy boundaries in every relationship that you're in. And so when I tell people who are out there actively dating and seeking love, it's like, well, how have you checked in on how you're doing with your relationship with you lately? Because that is number one important. And I know it sounds cliche, it does, but it is number one important. And if once that's solid, then you can start dating and bringing in others. But when you start bringing in others and you are not sure about what's going on with your relationship with yourself, or you don't even really know who you are, lasting love is difficult to first attract and then keep, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And it, you know, and love is just it's just one of those things, man. It's not even like, when I say that word, man, I don't say it lightly. And I know a lot of people don't use it lightly or feel it lightly, you know. And it's such a broad spectrum, because there's so many areas that deal with that area of life, you know, that sometimes we don't even realize where some of our like tendencies and things stem from. But like I said, once you're able to recognize it, once you're ready to deal with it or recognize it, you'll recognize it and you'll be like free. It's like freedom.
Yes, indeed.
It's like freedom, but we're all heavy already. But you know, I guess on the bright side of things, like I don't really do like convention. Like I was at the store earlier today, and I saw like this little pug, this little, you know, like a little stuffed animal or whatever, and I pressed it. It said hug me, or it was a pug. I don't know. It was cute, but when I pressed the button, it started singing, I like big hugs and I cannot lie, like that. And I was almost gonna buy it, and then I was like, no, it's just gonna take up space in the house that I don't have, and it's cute and everything, but no.
Damn, I could have totally used it.
It was so funny. I was just like, oh my God. And I was like, nah, it's not, no. But that's me. I'm kind of weird when it comes to holidays. Like, I like to celebrate holidays, but at the same time, I'm like, I know that by purchasing certain things, that it's just adding to the consumerist aspect of the holiday, not really within the holiday in and of itself.
Right.
So I just try to be thoughtful for like whoever, you know, like my mom or my parents, or, you know, my husband and stuff. Like, okay, like what do they need? Maybe something that's been on their wish list for a while, and be more thoughtful than just kind of like, okay, well, here's a stuffed animal that I saw because it was cute.
Right. Have some purpose and meaning behind the gift versus, okay, I'm getting a quote unquote Hallmark card and the candy and the standard, you know, thing you get.
January is New Year's resolutions, and then February is Valentine's Day, and they just put chocolate everywhere. I've been good for a month and a week, and you want to come over here, or a month and 2 weeks, and you want to come in and then just trash it by giving me a big old thing of chocolate. And it's not like, you know, I'm like, that, dude, that's these corporations, man, they need to start making some sugar-free stuff or something. I don't know, but
then it have to taste good, and I don't know if it could compete with chocolate. I went into Walmart today, chocolate everywhere.
That's what I'm saying.
Chocolate everywhere. I was almost going to get us a box of, well, us, I guess me, like a box of chocolates, but I'm like, I'm gonna be good. My coworker gave me for my birthday all my favorite candies in a bag today for my birthday. I'm like, another thing about my birthday being around Valentine's Day, I'm gonna get another cavity, y'all. Another cavity. That's what.
Have you had like 70% chocolate? Like, I know the dark chocolates are actually better for you than like the milk chocolates are and stuff. I think I tried like a 90% chocolate once. It was really bitter, but it was actually kind of good because I wasn't eating sugar for like a really long time. So for me, I could actually taste the sweetness in it. And it almost tasted like a raisinette anyways, girl. I'm tripping. But I'm just saying, like, but they could be a little bit more thoughtful in that whole thing. They don't care. They're just trying to make money, you know.
Yes.
Like, you know.
I know I was in there. What was I in there today? Was it today? It may not have been today. It may have been yesterday, but I was in there. I'm like, damn, Valentine's Day done exploded up in here. It was like, I mean, wow. If you were feeling
I even saw some St. Patrick's Day stuff.
Yeah.
Days are ready for St. Patrick's Day. That's not until another month.
I'm like, we have another month. Like, they do that now. I don't know how I feel about that still to this day. I'm like, really? We preparing for Halloween in like August? Not really feeling that.
I don't know. I like Halloween specifically, but it's not really so much about the candy. It's more about the getting dressed up and things like that, because I'm like fascinated with transformations. So, you know, and I think that the transformation for Halloween is like a representation of maybe what somebody's inner transformation has been over a year or something like that. So I'm like, you know, for me, Halloween is it's more than surface layer. It's not about the candy. Well, it used to be about the candy, but not anymore, you know. But everything else just seems so surface sometimes, and I'm just like, I'm so over it. I'm
over it. And Christmas, oh gosh, I'm so over the commercialism. But I every year dive right on into the whole, let me go on and get these gifts and like, just overdo it every year. And it's like, I don't want to do that anymore. You know, I don't mind the holidays. That's what the culture we're in. That's fine. But I don't want the commercialism. I'm better now where I'm not going into like debt and whatnot, you know, over it. But there was a time when I was, you know, it's just crazy. And a lot of Americans doing that. So it's like, use it, like, let holidays be a beautiful reminder to show people you love them and whatnot. And spend time with them. That's the best gift, making memories with people.
The time, Lord. Yes. Time.
Yeah.
Time is the one thing that we can't ever get back. You know, it's so funny. I was goofing all day today saying, you know, because of my daytime job, I was just like, I said, I still have to serve the time, Lord, 2 more hours, like making jokes and stuff like that. But it's true. It's true. Because I moved away from, you know, my folks to just try to find myself and, you know, figure out what I wanted to do with my life when I was younger, you know. And then that's like the one thing that would hurt sometimes, was like missing time, spending those little stupid moments with your family and your friends and your loved ones, you know. And time is just super important. It's just like, utilize it however you can. Don't waste it, because you can't. That's the one thing you just can't get back. You could get money back, you know, you cut your hair will grow back, but time.
Yeah, time. It's true. It's true. Like, it's, you know, fleeting. as far as we know it, it's fleeting. And
Yeah.
like my mother, growing up, she worked a night shift and she worked for a bank, but she worked for like their computer, like programming systems or whatever. Sorry, I had a Moscow mule, so I'm a little. So she had to work a lot of holidays, and all my sister and I, my little sister and I wanted was just to be able to have time with her. So it's like, you know, and that's increased even more today. My mom's not working anymore, but for us working people, we spend so much time working and trying to just carve out a living. I just want to be able to have some good times again, just laugh with family and friends and kick it, and just for the sake of kicking it, not because it's like some holiday, but just because.
Yep.
I feel like I've gotten so far away from that, and I want to get back to like living.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel you there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's a lot of folks out there seeking love and all that stuff, all the connections and stuff. And I don't know. Be careful what you wish for, folks. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But no, with all seriousness, yeah, you better enjoy your singlehood. You just don't know. It's a lot of work to be in a committed relationship. Let me tell you, it's a beautiful thing. It is, but it's a lot of work. So enjoy. That's my biggest advice tonight. Enjoy your single time and relish in that, and let that be the flow of energy that pushes you and propels you to your new lover.
If you can find somebody who you can be yourself with, where you can do what you like to do in your single time, and you can be with somebody who allows you to be in that single time, you're good.
Yep. That's so true.
That you have to change for somebody, there's a problem. I mean, now there's always compromises, right? When you have a friend or something, sometimes, you know, maybe one person smokes, the other doesn't, but y'all try to work around it. Okay, that's, you know, that's petty on the pettier side. But overall, in a general well-being sense, if you can do what you like to do, like if you read tarot, you shouldn't have to hide that. You should be able to do that and get your space to do that. Same thing with them. If they like to drum or something like that, you should be okay with that, or play video game, whatever the case might be. You know, it's just like you should be good as an item as individuals, and then I think that's where kind of that magic moment kind of happens. At least that's how I found for me, because I'm a creature of, like, I don't mind spending time by myself. You know, I'll keep myself occupied, and if I can't have that space and I feel smothered, then there's gonna be a problem, because I'm gonna lash out like, I need some space.
Let's get away from me. Yeah, that's true. That is real talk. Like, I love what you said, like the individuals, and then you come together. He's got his story, or he or she, and you got your story, and y'all work it out and work it together, because.
Oh, look at that. My deck. I was gonna pull it out, right? The Two of Cups. And it was at the bottom of the deck.
Oh, it's meant to be.
That's funny, because I was gonna say, you know, but this is not the traditional deck, but I need to pull that deck. So,
what gorgeous deck is that?
So this is Tarot Illuminati by Eric C. Dunn did the illustrations, and Kim Huggins did the book for it. This was so when I first started getting back into tarot, I picked up this and a Rider-Waite deck. So this is my first tarot love, like, you know, like the one that I was able to like read with people and learning and all that kind of stuff there. So it's just funny because I haven't pulled this deck out for a year. Like, I was like, okay, I'm gonna give you a break because I have some other ones I want to try out and whatever. So I decided to pull this one out, and of course what I'm talking about, and then that card pop. That's too funny. That is too funny.
I love when that happens.
Yeah, that deck knows me very well. I'll just try to pull out the Two of Cups just to give an illustration of what I'm what I'm saying, you know, two individuals both having something to offer, but also, you know, standing on their own. Nobody's holding anybody. I mean, that one they're holding each other, but not in this one here.
I love it. Yep, take your time.
Yeah.
Deck consultations, if you will. I love in that deck. I just know, like, I'm surprised I don't have that one yet, because it's totally my style. That layered, it looks collagey a little, pops of color. I need to check that deck out again.
Which one?
The one you have in your hand.
This one?
Mm-hmm. That
Tarot Illuminati, yeah. It's a good deck. Hi Victoria. We have a watcher here. Space is great, but there is a difference between being alone and being lonely. Those are two completely different concepts. And you know, there are times where you could be surrounded by people and still feel very, very lonely and very, very isolated. And then there's times where you can be alone and be completely content.
Yes.
So space is relative when, you know, when I'm discussing kind of like this concept of if you're with that person that you're with should allow you to not ever feel lonely. If you have a tendency of feeling lonely, I mean, and it's kind of subjective too, because if you have a tendency towards feeling lonely, towards feeling like an outsider for whatever reason, then you have to check where that starts and ends within yourself, and then where somebody else can pick that up and try to like help you kind of move past it, and like always make you feel like no matter what, even if you have space, that you feel loved. If they ever make you feel lonely or try to isolate you, then that person is probably not healthy for you, you know?
Yep. That's a clue right there. That's a clue.
I mean, it's a big red flag for sure.
That's the truth. And a lot of times people want to settle and like ignore those like warning signs or those red flags. Maybe not always warning signs, but red flags. It's like, no, you don't want to settle. You don't need to settle. You're going to take that over and over again, over and over again. You do not need to settle. I'd rather be by myself than to settle.
I learned that the hard way.
Me too. You learned that the hard way?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And like I said, it was more of a matter of me coming to terms and checking myself for what I was going through and why, you know what I mean? Like, I settled because I was in a bad headspace to start off with. It took me a while to like figure that out and go, okay, this was a straight reflection of my inner turmoil, and it manifested in this reality. And like, no, this, I'm not here anymore. This needs to be done. And I just deaded it. I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm out. This is not, no, I'm not in that place anymore. This was bad. You know what I mean? So, but it is what it is. So what is your first tarot, like your first deck that you loved or learned on?
It was the modern Spellcaster, surprisingly enough. And I don't hardly use it now. You can't see me?
No.
No.
I can hear you.
Uh-oh. Let me see. How do I make it? Oh, you see me now?
Yes.
Yay. Okay. Sometimes I have to like, even when I did it on my other device, I have to like restart it or something. I got to check on that. Why I got to constantly do that. But yeah, the modern spellcasters. I had the Morgan Greer. Mm-hmm. Well, my very first deck was the Gilded, but I really connected when everything started to click. It was the modern spellcasters, and that was my first like, okay, this is cool. I like this.
That deck. It looks cool though.
Yeah, and it's like, it's sad because I haven't used it much now that I've kind of moved on and like explored decks. I'm not going to ever get rid of it. I got rid of my very first deck, which was the Gilded, but I'm not getting rid of the Modern because it was that deck that, you know, when you have that.
Yeah, that little connection with.
Yeah.
Like, what was your. Like this deck, I haven't touched it in forever. And like the fact that that card came up while I was in the middle of talking, and I'm just like, yeah, you still blow my mind, like this particular deck still blows my mind. I don't even know why. I'm just like,
it's a great.
Yeah, that one. Like I don't own that one, but I've been intrigued by that one, and then I'm like, no, don't. I'm trying to contain myself, and I'm like, no, don't do it. But what I like about it is that it's really diverse. And and so I'm like, man, but maybe I should get it because it just has a different vibe to it altogether. It's not like another clone. You know what I mean? Like it definitely has like a personality for sure.
Yeah, it has its own little vibe. Yeah, and that's what I liked about it. I know they said something some people didn't like. I guess that it switched the swords and the wands, but I didn't even really notice it, and it was because I was new to the tarot game, so it just kind of went over my head, and I just still was able to fall in love with the deck. But yeah, I know what you mean about decks. I took your recommendation, and I got the fountain, and I love it. Yes. I can't believe it. I love it. That surprised me. I wanted to mention that because I wanted to thank you.
You're welcome.
I kept hemming and hawing for like, I don't know, like a damn year. Yeah. Over and over again. Yeah, one of those decks.
Pictures of those decks do it no justice. In person, it is astounding. It's just, I don't know. I love it. Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one.
It is a good one.
For sure.
I'm like, it became my baby, like one of my babies. I got a few. Like I had likened myself the other day to like I'm a what do you call it? A polygamist. And I got all these my decks are my wives, and I got like all these, like they're some of my favorite wives.
Oh my God.
I'm a mess. What was your first love deck? Your deck that
Tarot Illuminati. This is the first one that like that click went in my head. Yeah. So like I got a Rider-Waite-Smith. And what's really funny is that in the very beginning, I definitely was not a huge like fan. Like I just couldn't connect with the artwork of the Rider-Waite. And but I said, okay, let me get one because I know all the books have reference to it, so I want to be able to analyze it and stuff like that. And then I also got the Tarot Illuminati, so I worked with them while I was reading my books, kind of side by side. And of course, I was drawn to like the really colorful nature of the Tarot Illuminati. But it's funny because most of last year, I was almost exclusively using the Rider-Waite-Smith, which is so fun. Like I fell in love with it like over time, but in the very beginning, I was like, I don't like you though. Like I was like, there's something about you. I just I don't know yet. But it's an easy reader. It's a classic deck. I think that's what it is the fact that it's a classic and nothing can really replace it. But the first one that I really learned to read with and work with and kind of build that like bond with is the Tarot Illuminati, which like I said, I haven't pulled out in about a year. So hello.
Hello there. Fancy meeting you here tonight.
I know, exactly.
Yeah, no, I only have I have the Centennial, which is my most closest thing to the true Rider.
Yeah, no, that's my favorite version. That's my favorite version of the Rider-Waite-Smith is the Centennial.
Yeah, mine too. I like that little, almost little antique one. Somebody, I think it was the Peculiar, I don't know which YouTuber had it, but they had like one that was on Etsy that's very antiqued. I don't think that's a word, but like very I don't know, made to look aged, and it looked really
the
good.
Pamela Vintage Tarot, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, that one's on Game Crafter.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay.
Girl, it's on my list, please. I still build a list even though I'm not spending my money.
Yeah, it's now on my list. So
it's really cool looking though. I really like how it looks. And then I'm like, but you know, I could just stain one up myself.
That's true. That's true. I could totally do that. And it's, you know, we could experiment. There's so many people modifying decks out there. The only thing I've done is edge. I haven't cut or I haven't dyed any decks as of late. Only edged in black. That's it. You modified any decks lately?
No. The only deck that I feel like I modified more than one deck, but my first deck that I ever modified was the Thoth Tarot. I trimmed the sides and I did the edges, so there's no I can't. The gray borders take away from this deck so much, and I feel like it really just comes alive. After I took the edges off, I was like, this deck is so beautiful. I mean, it's definitely a different aesthetic than the Rider-Waite-Smith, but like when you look at the colors,
I love
see all the colors. It just looks so pretty, and I'm like, yeah. So this was the first one that I ever modified, and I was scared. I did with scissors.
Oh, but you probably like cut the line. Did you also? How did you round it? How did you round?
A corner rounder somewhere. I got one of those little corner rounders you put on the edges. Yeah.
Is it easy to use? I'm tempted.
The corner rounders, yeah, that's the easiest part. It was the cutting the edges part that scared me because I didn't. You know, it feels like a cohesive deck. Like nothing catches or anything like that. So I'm happy the way that it came out, for sure. But yeah, that was like the first. I was like, because I really wanted to use this deck, and I was like, man, look, those gray borders are killing it for me. They're so distracting. I just don't understand why wasn't it either a black border or a white border? Just make it a simple contrast to everything else that's going on. What was up with that? I would like to know. I still haven't read anything on that either, by the way. I'm just like, I want to know who allowed this. Who signed it up on that?
Yeah, what creative person was like in the room with like, yes, we must have gray borders. It's like, no, we don't need borders. Just leave well enough alone. I don't know how you could look at a deck, and I'm pretty tolerable about borders. I think I'm pretty tolerable, but sometimes when the decks, like especially oracle decks, when they're so massive, and I have large woman hands, I like to say, and even with my large woman hands, it's too much to handle, and it's like now I got to trim them to properly be able to use them. It's just, I don't know. I think they should think a little bit more about that. Sorry, creators, but I think you should think more about that.
Yeah, that's interesting that you say that, because I do have, yeah, there's some, I think when it comes down to it, I think one of the, like, something that at least that I had thought about the other day was like, okay, the whole point of a deck of cards is that they're portable. And when you have like these really large cards, books are portable too. So basically they're like small books, but the boxes are usually bulky, which is nice because it keeps the cards safe, but it's not really travel friendly. Like, you know, and I don't mind the cards being big. It's nice for like pictures and cameras and stuff like that. But handling it, like if you're all day reading, like your hands are going to start getting kind of cut up a little bit just because you're putting that weird pressure on weird spots. Because, yeah, I know what you're saying. I have been leaning towards more of like the smaller kind of oracles than the bigger ones lately. Like, I have a decent collection of like the normal size oracle decks, but I know my interest isn't really peaked unless I know that it's almost like a tarot card size or, somewhere in that realm, because it's just too much.
It is too much. It is. And that's so funny you say that, because I have lately been gravitating towards oracles that have been like more tarot size, the tarot traditional size, because I just want to be able to shuffle them and be able to use them. And I love, like, for example, everybody loves the Sacred Rebels or whatever by Alana Fairchild, but it's so massive. And like, there's some people who all they do is tarot reading all day. I don't tarot read all day. I type all day, but nevertheless, I'm using my hands and my wrists and everything typing. And then I come home and I want to shuffle, and then you shuffle these massive cards. I'm trying to configure how my fingers would be as I'm shuffling. And it's like, and then my hands start to hurt even more than when I've been typing all day.
Right.
Even more. So when it's tarot size, that feels good.
No, I get it. But you know what I tend to do though with the oracle cards is, at least what I found that helps me, because I kind of have that same problem, is to hold them long ways. So like instead of trying to hold them like this way, which is like a stretch for me. I mean, I can hold it, but it's like a stretch. I'll do it this way.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, if you're gonna overhand shuffle, I'll do it this way, like this, like long ways. Which that kind of gets annoying, but then I'll end up just doing like a riffle shuffle long ways, and it feels short. Like it just doesn't hurt my hands so much. So I just do it that way. So
try to do it this way next time with my Heal Yourself reading cards is what I'm.
Yeah, try it like that. I find that to be more comfortable, especially like with my hand getting kind of like the carpal tunnel like strain going on. Like doing it the other way helps a whole bunch. That way I don't feel like I don't want to not use my oracle cards, because that would be a waste.
Right. It's like, oh, I don't want to use you because you're so large, and I don't know, you're sitting there on the shelf waiting, but then I'm using my little tiny little Etsy tarot sized oracle decks because they're easy to the hands. But you're right, doing it the long way. Doing it the long way is.
That's what she said. No, I'm just kidding. I couldn't help myself. I'm sorry. I know.
Like, this is so bad. Sorry. I'm like, oh goodness. I know I gotta freshen my my Moscow Mule is empty. I went to the liquor store tonight, and I hardly ever go to a liquor store. I go to the grocery store if I needed to get some liquor. But I went to the liquor store because I needed to get a proper tinier size of vodka for my Moscow Mule. And the guy was like, you could spend $10 more and get the big bottle. I'm like, I don't need that. I don't need that. I need the little bottle. And then the people in the line, like behind me in the line, they were like, really, lady? Like I don't hardly drink. I'm all trying to be all apologetic in the liquor store. And
that's funny.
He's like, I'm trying to help you out. Give you a deal on some vodka. No, thanks. Just give me a little bottle, please. Well, I came here versus the bulk section at the grocery store. So yeah, I never. So sorry, I'm being a little. If there's jokes that are said, I'm gonna laugh. I'm gonna be silly and goofy tonight.
Yeah, I mean, when else are we gonna be goofy? Like it doesn't always have to be serious. I mean, you know, I think that's the great thing about tarot is like it's very versatile. Like you can have fun with it or you can get real serious with it. And that's sometimes, true. You know, like that rhythm of just doing the same thing over and over again. Like if you don't shake that up, you're going to get bored. You're going to get burnt out and we're going to get tired. So like, I can't help myself. Like it's Friday. So I'm just like going with it.
Yep, that's it. We work all the time. We work hard. So you got to be able to play. You got to be able to play. And that's the thing. It's like, I don't know. I'm like, Friday nights. I try not to, I try not to be like, oh, I can't wait till Friday night or the weekend, but I do it anyway. I do it. I'm bad. I'm guilty. I try to make every day meaningful and blessed and beautiful, but man, nothing like a Friday night.
For sure.
I took Monday off too. What was it Lincoln's holiday? I never take that day off, but I'm like, what the hell? Shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you can, why not? Just get that extra day of rest or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So on the topic of love, right? So what else do we have?
Got my lovely. Well, love. We could talk either about manifesting love. We could talk about those folks who are in those makeup and breakup cycles. Oh gosh. Or those folks who just keep attracting folks but not keeping them. Or those folks who just need to just love themselves. I guess love is so vast, but everybody wants it and needs it.
All right. Well, okay. Here's something interesting. I guess I can toss out there. So, in a natal chart, in a natal astrology chart, the way, basically, okay. So, the Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, and Mars are your inner planets, are your interpersonal planets. So if the sun is the ego and the moon is your emotions, Mercury's communication, or your thought processes, then we have Venus is like, the goddess of love and all this kind of stuff here. So, um, but it's interesting because when you're looking at your natal chart, the Venus, wherever Venus is placed, is kind of like how you receive love, how you how you perceive it, how you receive it, kind of like the receptive part of love. And then your Mars is how you express your love. It's kind of like, because the glyph for Venus is like the female sign, and then Mars is the male sign. So everybody always thinks that it's like, well, what does this mean in my chart if I'm a female or if I'm a male or whatever? Like, that is irrelevant. Venus is how you kind of like, how you ever read that or heard that thing about the five love languages? Is kind of about how different people express their love and how they like to be loved, like
Yep.
that kind of thing. And I'm not meaning sexually, I'm meaning like as far as like get like
Like,
giving gifts or
yeah.
sensation by like hugging or whatever, or verbal reinforcements and things of
Acts
that
of
nature.
service.
Right. So it's kind
Mm-hmm.
of similar to that. So, um, you know, if you have, I don't know, if you have your Venus, like let's say in Gemini, that would be like the way that you like to receive love is like you like to hear reinforcements, or it's more in your mind. You need to be reassured, and like you
Mm-hmm.
feel love when people reassure you, right? I mean, that's like a really simple analogy of it. But then, like, let's say your Mars is I don't know, in in Taurus or something like that, then you probably either like to give the person you love gifts, or kind of give them some kind of sense of stability by either being there for them all the time, even if you don't have gifts to give them, things like that. And like that's how you would express it, even though you like to receive it by hearing reinforcements. So like if you were to look at anybody's natal chart, I guess that would be kind of like how you would read that aspect in a natal chart for yourself or for whoever. So that's just on the topic of love, I guess, where people will look in their natal chart. And other things that you can pick up from there too is like sometimes if you're kind of in this vicious cycle of some sort, or you can't seem to pinpoint why you do this but you don't get this, maybe by looking at your natal chart or somebody looking at their natal chart may be an indicator. It's like, oh, okay, so I express myself this way, but this is how I want to, like receive it. It's not necessarily the way you give it is not the way that you want to receive it.
That
So
makes sense.
yeah, I mean, some people it might work out that way, but not everybody. We're all different and stuff like that. So, but I always found that to be a really interesting dynamic when reading those inner planets, because it's like, here's your ego, here's your emotions, here's your thought processes, and then boom, how you receive and uh, perceive and give love or whatever.
It's a trip too, because like you said, like it could be a person who they like to give gifts. That's what they like to do, but that may not necessarily be their personal love language of how they receive it. And I haven't read the love languages book, by the way, but I have a friend who swears by it and who is educating me on it. And I'm like, oh, cool. But it's interesting. It's like, it's that knowing of yourself. Like, again, it's like in the astrology, I was always fascinated by that too. Like, okay, I want to know all the different aspects of me or that guy who I'm trying to be with or whatever. And like, how are we going to work? And the natal charts, I'm starting to learn like from you. And then like a friend of mine, she's really into astrology. It's very fascinating. Very fascinating.
And I think my biggest tip for anybody who's going into astrology is, and I know that sometimes people get into it for different reasons, like there's so a lot of different like branches of it, different areas where you can kind of focus on and things like that, but like really getting your feet wet and getting started, man, is your own damn natal chart. Your own natal, you will be blown away as you continue to read and continue to try to like figure it out and understand like each little point, and then how these points connect to each other, because it's a slow build up, but once all those little synapses in your brain start like going off, you're just like, my whole life is in that chart. It's just so funny when it happens. But then once you get to that point where you see it for yourself and you've experienced what, like, oh, okay, you get it, then move on to somebody really, really well. Whether that be like a family, ask them whatever and see if they're down with it, and then just try to see if you could read their chart. Once you kind of could get a feel for that, I mean, this is just like my approach and how I think it will work best, then you can like go off and try to read somebody's chart who you really see if there's synergy there and whatnot. But also, like tarot, though, I wouldn't read for something. Like, if you came to me and you were just somebody off the street, it's like, well, I want to know whether me and this other guy are going to be compatible, but that person is not there with you, I wouldn't do that reading. It's just like reading for somebody who's not there. It's like kind of similar. You know what I'm saying? So, like, if you're getting into it for those reasons and you're like the ethics are kind of off, like I'm gonna step back from that, because I'm like, no, because I don't want nobody doing that to me, like judging my chart off of, judging my chart off of before I'm not even there to fill in the gaps of the information, because that's what really makes reading a chart come alive, I think, is when the other person is there and then they're like, yes, this and this and this and this and that, like, and it just comes out. It's really mind-blowing. But yeah, I would start off with my own chart. And I think that kind of comes back down to what we're talking about, like with, it's about knowing yourself. It's like about, knowledge of self, knowing yourself and loving yourself and like giving yourself what you need when you need it. Like, and I'm not even trying to throw it out there because I know that there's a lot of, it just sounds like everybody keeps saying it, but they don't explain what that means. It's not necessarily a pretty process either. It's not necessarily a pretty process. Whoever I'm reaching out to right now, this is for whoever's out there that is feeling so down right now that they just, could barely want to get out of bed. You have to pick your own self up. You know what I'm saying? You have to give, I'm sorry, I was just about to curse. You have to give an F about yourself enough. No, for real. For anybody else to, you know what I'm saying? it's not easy, you know. It's really, really hard, and I've been in some really bad places where I really didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't want to do anything with myself. Like, why am I here? Like, even all of that. That's me talking down to myself, doubting myself, putting myself down. I can continually perpetuate that, or I can try to break out of that. And so, what did I do? Okay, just get out of bed. Just go clean something. Go do, you know, whatever it is. Get yourself, okay, now cool. Now my room is clean. Well, I feel better, but I did that for myself. It's a form of self. It could be that something so small like that. That's a step in a direction for you, for an individual um to really, you know, process that self-love, you know, whether it's getting out of a toxic relationship, whether it's getting out of a toxic environment. It might not even be a relationship. It could just be an environment that you're in, that, you know, it's toxic. If you feel like you're suffocating and you don't even want to be around any of that drama, do what you have to do for yourself. Stop being lazy, stop procrastinating, whatever it is, and know that something better is out there for you if you put the work in for yourself, because you deserve it, you know?
Right.
And, you know, like I said, you know, a lot of people's like, oh, self-love, self-love, self-love. And it sounds fluffy, but I know it's not, it's never pretty, you
Yep.
know? I mean, when you get to a certain point, it could be beautiful, but that original point, especially if you feel some type of way, maybe you just came out of a relationship, you're not sure what to do with yourself, you know, do something, go back to school, find a hobby that you really like, whatever the hell it is that makes you happy. Pivot on that and hold on to that, and like water it so that it grows, like, real talk.
So true. That love everything, all those points you made out. Like first, it's like it's not pretty. A lot of times people look at like what their friends and family are doing on social media and they see the pretty of love. They see, oh, they're getting married in their pictures. Oh, they just had a baby. They see all that. But they don't understand that probably what that individual who's in that Facebook post, what it took to get them there. So it's not pretty. The journey to getting to love, and even the journey to maintaining love once you are blessed to receive it after you've done the work, it's not pretty. But a lot of people think that it's easy, it's pretty, because, and then they like, oh, I'm struggling so tough, there must be something wrong with me. Well, okay, yeah and no. It's the journey, it's the process. And like you said, it takes one step at a time to build that relationship of self-love. Like you said, getting up in the morning. And if you just made the effort to make up your bed that morning, that's step one. The next day you get out, you know what? I'm going to go out and go take a walk. That's step two. It's like, it's a step-by-step process of evolution of love. But it starts day one, numero uno, like right here, number one. It ain't pretty when it's not pretty. But I have friends right now who are like hurting right now, and they're like, I don't understand what's wrong with me. Well, first let's take out the what's wrong with me. Let's take this out, because that's hindering the process. So
well, and I think something else too, I think you brought up a good point, is social media. Social media is a beautiful place to escape to. I mean, there's different avenues of it, but as a person just scrolling, just looking, not a creator, but just as you're looking and you're kind of going through, nobody posts their dirty laundry online. They don't want, I mean, sometimes things slip on there, but it's not usually intentional. It's really not. So everything you see are the highlights of people's lives, or what they try to create as a highlight of their lives. Because, you know, and I think it affects everybody. It happens all the time. Like, you can start looking, I don't know, like, for example, when I think when I first started researching like tarot decks and looking at reviews, and I'm just like, oh my God, that deck is so pretty. Oh my God, that deck is so pretty. You know, and I'm like, but these people have all the decks. And it's like, no, no. Collectively, that community has all the decks, you know, but it's an illusion when you're looking and and that's what your mind is on. You're on tarot, or you're on relationships, or you're on any topic. It just seems like it goes on forever, and
Yep.
everybody has what you don't have, or whatever it is that you're lacking. And sometimes it's, you know, the healthiest thing to do is kind of like, okay, you were in it, take a step back, and then assess what is your, like, formulate your opinion, formulate how you really feel. Or maybe you you know, like, sometimes it'll be like you're researching something, and then you get sidetracked and you go off, and you spend however much time, and then you got to like step back and say, okay, wait, I got the information I was looking for. Okay, I'm good. I don't have to like do everything else that I saw. This is what I needed. And so when it comes to maybe coveting what it seems like other people have, or anything of that nature, I think,
Mm-hmm.
at least here in America, you know, the capitalist thing is like, it thrives off of a sense of lack. And I'm
Yep.
very much aware, become more and more aware of that as time has gone on. And so I've just gotten to a point where it's just like I'm spending less and less of my money on frivolous things. And I think that's pretty much how my year started off. I was like, wait a minute, hold on, wait. No, no. Do I need it? No, I don't need it. Do I want it? Can I live without it? Yeah. You know, like, asking myself these certain questions is like, and what am I lacking? I have myself, I have my health, I have my, you know what I'm saying, my work, whatever. Like, the what we were talking about before is like maybe time with friends and family. That's what's lacking, because I had to move away to work towards the lack of, you know, whatever funds
Mm-hmm.
or whatever it is, you know what I'm saying. And so it's just a really interesting dynamic. But when you strip away all the social media and you just sit with yourself, and you know, you assess um what's going on, you know, if you're in a bad situation, you know, how can you get out of it? Figure out how to get out of it. I mean, that's just like, for me, that was me. Like, that's why I was like, okay, no, I need to change it up, because right now I'm being held down by weights, and I need to like fly to soar, basically. And that's what I had to do. And it wasn't easy, but it's one of the best moves I've ever made, you know. And you know, if ever, like, you know, speaking to whoever's watching this, you know, like, if ever you're doubting that, you know, you can do it on your own, don't doubt yourself. You are capable of way more than you probably giving yourself credit for. You
Yep.
know?
You're stronger than you realize. Even when you're crying, even when you're feeling at your weakest moments, even when you're feeling at your most rejected, that this is all building you. It's all just divine, guiding you towards where you want to be. That's why it's important to be clear about where you want to be and invest a little bit of energy in being clear about the partner you want, who you want to be, where you want to be, because it ain't pretty all the time getting on that path. There's going to be some tears for some of us. There was tears for me on my journey, that's for sure. But it was, now in retrospect, I'm grateful for those experiences. It made me stronger. It made me more discerning about who I would spend my time with. Like, God forbid, if me and my husband weren't together anymore, I would be a very discerning lady. I'm not going to be taking no BS. Like, you ain't just going to come up and try to date me and it's half-assed like I would have dealt with like when I was younger. No,
Right.
I'm just not going to deal with you because I got my life is filled with friends, family, tarot, hobbies, interests, or whatnot.
Yeah.
So you got to be like that. It's almost like an enterprise. Treat your life, your body, your everything like an enterprise. You just gonna let any old body come up in there and you're gonna take their investment for face value, or you're gonna really scope it out and do your due diligence and vet that person and make sure they're worth being in your life. And if they ain't, let him go. It's better. I told a friend yesterday, it's better to know early. He's showing his ass early right now. Let him show it so you can move on quickly to the next.
This is true. I agree. Don't, again, time. Don't waste my time. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true. I'd rather know earlier than later. Because that right there, that infuriates me. I'm like, really? Because you just wasted literally all this damn time. Are you kidding? Like, I could kill you for the time you wasted. Like,
yeah, my energy, my time, you know, and you just want to play games at the end of the day.
Yeah, nope.
Nope. I'd rather know now. And I told my friend, like, I know she was like heartbroken or whatever. And I'm like, I know you feel the pain. That's fine. But then once this pain subsides a little, then recognize the blessing that he showed his ass good, because now you ain't wasting y'all in week 2, week 3. Good. Exit stage left, sir. The stage left. Like,
yeah.
Because I've wasted some time on some guys, and it was like, what the hell? You know, I mean, now, now that I'm with my partner now, it's like, okay, well, it's great. But, when you think about it, like, damn, I wasted time and energy.
Yeah.
Over what? But it was lessons. It was lessons. But still, it was like, ooh, I could have learned that lesson like several months back.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Like you said, it's like, at the end of the day, like when you brought up something too about like, what do we need? What do we want? And it's funny, this 2018 started for me similar to where I'm like, I don't really have any needs or wants, even with decks and stuff. I was like, I'm kind of cool with the little collection of things I got going on right now. I'm cool. I'm straight. And that's a good place to be in. It's a good place versus, oh, I want. 2017 was, woo.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. And I was like, yeah, no, because why? I mean, it's my hobby. I love it, and I could read about it all day. I'm like, but I have more than enough in my collection to keep me busy for years. Time. I don't know why. My whole theme of today has been time. I don't even know why. But it's true though. It's the same thing. Like the more decks you have, like how much quality time are you spending with your decks when you have a really large collection versus having a smaller collection and actually spending that quality time learning your decks, reading with them, whatevering with them. Just playing with them and like they're getting used and stuff like that. Like that's like one thing that I think like stopped me because I was like, wait a minute. Especially because like when we started this year, there was like a lot of Capricorn energy, like a lot of planets and stuff were in Capricorn and stuff. And I know for me, it made me think about that in general, that whole like restrictions on stuff and time and I'm like, but that's what it is. It's like I'll get one and then I'm like spending my time looking for others. I'm like, hello, am I a player or what? Like, what's going on?
I told you, me and my polygamist, my wives. I'm adding to my wives. Tarot wives.
I think that's like the best term ever. Like seriously, but no, it's true though. And I mean, and it's fine, but it's realistically, I actually tried to do the math somewhat, and I was like, yeah, even if I use one deck once a year, well, no, that's not going to work. I can't spend a whole year with a deck because I have this many decks. I'd have to, by the time I couldn't even cycle around back to a deck that you know what I mean? So I was like, okay, whoa, not cool. I don't like that. Like that freaked me out, And I'm not used to having a collection of anything anyway, so I'm happy where I'm at. I'm just like, I'm just going to try to sit still for a while. And I'm not even going to go there.
Both. It scared me too. The other day I was like, I'm feeling kind of guilty about only spending X number of time with these 3 decks. I'm like, this is a damn shame that I'm feeling guilty.
Yeah.
That I'm not able to spend time focusing and getting to know my other decks. But I shouldn't be feeling guilty about loving on these decks that I'm vibing with. So that's when I was like, you know what? This is the year you're going to get to know the decks you got. And that's what it's going to be. And I'm at peace with it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I've been too. I'm like, nope, I'm just going to stop right here. And if I have a deck that I'm not vibing with, I'm putting them in a separate little pile. Excuse me.
Bless you.
I'm putting them in a separate pile. Like, am I really, ever gonna want to work with you guys? Like, how did I get you? Like, going through the whole thing. Like, if you're just gonna sit there and I'm not gonna use you, then I need to do something, and you know what I mean, and either trade for something that I maybe have my eye on or something like that, because it doesn't make sense. I'm not used to having so much in one spot. It's so strange to me.
Too.
But that keeps it in perspective for me too. Like, I've never had that. Now I have it. Now I don't need to go overboard.
Yeah.
For sure.
I totally went overboard. This is like with collections of anything, collections of purses. I'm over that, been over that several years ago, but collection of purses. Then I was into boots, lots of boots. I'm still kind of into boots. And then decks and books. But you're right. When I think about it, I've never really had a collection of anything until till my later 20s and then my 30s. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't know how to really act. Don't know how to behave with a collection.
Yeah. That's true.
Go crazy. Next thing I know, I'm like, oh, damn. I'm going to spend up all my money.
Do you have a specific deck that you use for love readings?
I do. Good question. I have 3 decks that I use for love readings. This year is the Triple Goddess, surprisingly, is really awesome in love readings. And then I use the Cosmic, The Cosmic Tarot, which has become a fast favorite. And then the Wicca, Sensual It's also hella good with readings. I don't understand, but it is. I don't understand with this crazy ass borders too. But yeah, this one is my go-to lately. I can't even really think about going to any other decks other than those 3 right now for love. How about you?
It's funny because I think so my Tarot Illuminati is kind of like my it's my overall, it's my go-to for almost everything. When I start, because that's how I started learning with this one. But I really haven't, I have some decks that are I don't know. I don't know if they're so much love-based, but they're more sex-based, I guess. So I have those, but it just depends on who I'm reading for, whether I'll use those or not. I don't know. I typically reach for the Tarot Illuminati for some reason. I don't really reach for other ones. I don't know why. Either that or the Rider-Waite. I'm boring, right? I know, I'm so boring. Hold on. I have other ones that I wanted to plan on. Let me see.
Yay! We're going on a tour, y'all. No, I know. I'm boring too when I think about it, because I was like, that's why I thought I wanted so much variety with decks, was because I'm like, I'm going to use 5 or 6. I'm going to have a choice whenever I want to, and didn't quite work out like that.
Yeah, it's true, because there's the what we're attracted to, and then what might seem appropriate for your client as well. That makes kind of a big difference to the personality type that you're dealing with and things like that. Oh God, I'm just being so. So I have this.
Oh.
this one here is like the Tarot of Sexual Magic. This one's more like PG-13ish, I think. And then the Cameron Tarot, which I'm not even going to show the picture of that just in case there's kids watching.
I know about that one.
Yeah.
I know it got me feeling certain kind of ways. I'll be honest.
But I know I have those two. I've used the Morgan Greer for love readings before. That one's but that's an easy reader though. The Morgan Greer's are easy reader. It's just like the Rider-Waite. It's so.
But I could see it being more of a love reader than even the basic Radiant Rider-Waite Smith or whatever, or even the Centennial. I could see the Morgan Greer. It's got that like 70s kind of like porn stash thing going on. Yes.
I can't with myself. I'm just too extra right now.
I wish I had my Morgan Greer so I could show like people like the voluptuous women with their little 70s. So bad and inappropriate. Sorry, y'all. I'm inappropriate. Inappropriate.
But yeah, when it comes down to, I still haven't really found like that one deck that I maybe only want to read love readings with. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Like, that hasn't happened for me yet. The Cosmic Tribe Tarot is one that I haven't had an opportunity to try that with yet, because that one's I don't know. I haven't really had an opportunity to use that one yet, but I'm looking forward to it when it occurs. I feel like that one's gonna be really like forward with whatever the messages are.
You're right. I have it too, and I'm like, I haven't used it that much. I just got 3 lovers cards.
Yes.
And I love that about it. But sometimes I'm like, ooh, it's an accurate reader, but it's a little in your face. I haven't been able to like find a time I could use it in a reading yet, which sucks because it's a great deck.
Yeah. Again, it has to be the right fit for the client that you're reading for.
True that. I love it.
A couple of personalities that if I use it, they'll probably laugh at some of the messages that come through, but they'll like get it though. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll get the message that's coming through and not feel any kind of like offended or anything, but it'll actually like trigger something in them to like understand what's happening, you know?
That's true. That deck, yeah, like I don't even know. Like some of the pictures.
Fierce though, man. That deck is dope.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I'm about to be like, this is what I'm using, and that's it.
Yep. You just gonna have to deal with. Yep. All the parts are shown. You just gonna have to deal with what we're showing you. Mm-hmm. I don't know, and I know I'm gonna love it. The deck creators are I think the guy who writes it. I don't know the name of the author. I think he's from San Francisco. And I always, when there's a deck creator from like my neck of the woods, I'm always like, oh, you mean something extra to me. But the guidebook to that deck, I love it. I could just take that guidebook and it's one of those guidebooks I could read, just like with the Celtic Tarot.
Yeah.
I could just take it and just be like, I could just read you.
I have the Cosmic Tribe Tarot book right here, sitting right next to me.
See that just juiciness, that just big old juicy guidebook.
Now, do you prefer to get decks with guidebooks or not? That's a weird question. Like, do you have a preference, or does it like change depending on your mood and stuff?
Changes on the mood. Like sometimes, because I'm running out of space, having big old books like this is not easy.
Right.
But I love books. Mm-hmm. So it's like I'm torn. So sad I'm torn. But I prefer when decks are like this or like the Fountain, where they're like all contained with the guide.
There's a good little book that goes with it. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah. That's what makes me happy. How about you? Do you like the big old honka guidebooks, or you like the little bitties, or no guidebooks?
I mean, I like them. I mean, I like them both. I think for me, I don't know. It was kind of hard. It's funny because last year most of the ones that I got didn't have big guidebooks, but the year before most of the ones I had big guidebooks with it. But I do like getting the perspective of the creators on like what their intention was for the deck, because if I could vibe with that, then I'm automatically gonna vibe with the deck, like hands down, because it's like, here's the idea, here's where it came from, blah 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 blah, and then it's like, cool, okay, cool, that works for me. Especially if it's something that deviates from the norm. I really love getting into the minds like that. But if it's pretty straightforward, like the Fountain Tarot, it doesn't need to have a huge guidebook. It has a nice, really well thought out little white book that comes with it. Well, it's not really a little white book, it's a little chunky white book, you know what I mean? But it's contained. Yeah. And it's really good, actually. I read through it when I got mine, and I was just like, this was perfect. This was perfect. It was just enough to make me want to just start using the deck right away, besides the illustrations, you know what I mean? So yeah, I go through phases too. Like, I think now I'm leaning less towards the mass market ones and more to the indie ones. I don't know. I'll be all over the place with it.
Yeah, gosh, indie, mass market. I know. I go through these little spells. Sometimes I'm like, oh, mass market, I could do that. I like mass market because it's convenient. And then I'm like, no, I want an indie deck because I feel like I could connect more with the indie deck. Although I connect it probably just as equally. Both, if I'm honest.
Exactly.
But yeah, with the guidebook, you're right about how it deepens. When you read the guidebook, it'll deepen that connection with the deck, especially if it's a really good guidebook too. And then, like you said, sometimes I just need just the bison. This is actually a really good guide for even like like someone starting out in tarot. At first, I was concerned about the fountain, but this is good.
Agreed.
Like, I should have started with the fountain, but I didn't know. I was like, I just didn't know. I was so nervous. It's one of those decks. It's so funny. I still am admiring about that. Like, I railed against it. I'm like, no, I don't think so. It looks too geometrical to me. And then I loved it. I'm like, oh, love it.
It's really clean. It has like this clean kind of, almost like it's self-cleansing.
Yep. Self-cleansing.
Yeah, it's almost like because it's really crisp. And like I said, pictures don't do it any justice, videos don't do it any justice, but when you have it in person and you see it in person, it's just so clean. It's almost like it can never be tarnished. Almost like it, I don't know, the way that it's done, it's almost like it can't ever have bad energy. Like, no bad juju will ever hold tight onto it. Like, that's what I mean about it being like self-cleansing, kind of, sort of. Like, that's the vibe, at least the vibe that I get from it when every time I pull it out. I'm like, oh, you're good. You're nice and clean. What's up? Like,
yep. And it's okay if you give me, bite-sized messages, because I just, that's just how you roll, and you just, but I get deep readings too. But
yes,
I'm so surprised by this little the geometrics. Like,
as a matter of fact, yeah, it's interesting. I actually did on my Instagram account, I have haikus that I did with that deck. Yeah.
Cool. That's cool.
I think I did a card by card, and then towards the end I started like pairing them or tripling them up or whatever, because it was like, okay, it's almost done. Like, I want to actually use it to read with now. Like, let me hurry up with this, But I got some really interesting mini haikus out of that deck. I was like really pleasantly surprised.
I like that. The haikus, eh? I like that with the deck.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out something to do with my Instagram at one point. I might start that up again. Actually, I should start that up again with, especially since I'm trying to focus on the Thoth uh decks this year.
Ooh,
Yes.
Thoth. Eh?
Ta-da. There it is.
Yeah, that's another. It's a great system. Deepness. We like deep. We like
Time.
psychological.
Yeah,
Time.
time. It's at least close to at least a month worth of every day. Or not every day, but yeah, you understand what I'm saying. I think I like to do them in like pairs or triples though, and make like a haiku out of that. And that usually gets me about a month and a half or so of using one deck like that. And I just run it down until I have no cards left. And then for me, it's kind of like the story of that deck. For I don't know, it's interesting. It's cool though. I found something. I tried to find another way of utilizing the cards that, you know what I mean, is not the usual. Especially if like I just get a deck or I don't know a deck yet and things like that.
If you do that, I will be all over your Instagram. That is such a cool idea. That's
if you go back to my older ones, you'll see it. I'm probably gonna restart it back up again though, because I was getting kind of like, I don't know, I had to take a break from Instagram for a minute. I was just like, what am I doing with my Instagram life?
I know. What am I doing with my Instagram life, my Facebook life, my YouTube life? God, it could go on. You know, I'm so bad with the social media. I need to be consistent. They say you need to be consistent. You need to be there all the time. That's what my teenagers tell me.
Yeah, it's true.
It's true. And I'm like, I know. I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
But it's you know, it's rougher when you have a daytime job. I mean, it's not an excuse, but it's rougher. So whatever consistent is for you, that's what it has to be. If it's once a week, once every 2 weeks, just keep on it. Whatever that is. Yeah.
Whatever that is. Yeah, I guess I should I need to pace myself. Let me pace myself.
Yeah.
It's just one post a week.
Yeah, pace yourself. It's about that steady, because when people look and they see when's the last time you posted, if it says, you know, 1 week ago, people are kind of okay with that. If, you know, it goes 2 weeks ago, it's like, oh, this person is MIA, you know, like, and even I do it like that. I'm like, oh, okay, they're MIA. I'll check for them later. But if you're trying to get traffic and things like that, you want to be consistent. I'm just do what I do. And I think I mentioned it in one of my videos before. I peak and valley. Like, I get these bursts of creative ideas, and then I need time to recharge. And that's just how I work. I wish I could be one of those people who could just keep at it. But I know myself. So I was like, I'm going to put it out there, because that way people don't think I just fell off the face of the earth. Like, I'll be back. I'm just recharging, you know?
Yep. Gotta recharge. Sorry, folks. Gotta recharge. I'm gonna start being better about being a little more vocal about that. The need to recharge.
Yeah.
Need to recharge. And now, have you been doing a lot of readings lately?
I've done some, but I think I just in general I needed to recharge. I did do a lot of like brainstorming, like I have a notebook full. That's a lot of stuff coming out at the same time. And I was like, okay, now I feel drained, and now I just need some time to just like catch back up to myself. And then now it's in the book, and now I can kind of like start checking things off and working down the list and things like that. So that's what happened with me.
And that's okay. You know, it's okay to be able to pull back. Sometimes I welcome like I said, the little ebbs and flows, and I welcome them, because sometimes we just need a little downtime. I know, I think the previous couple of weeks prior to, I was going through downtime, able to watch a Netflix, you know, movie or two or something like that. I just, you know, we got to have the recharge time. You got to have it. So.
What's your favorite genre, like movie genre?
Ooh, okay. So I'm that one who watches, like, I like the, you know how American Horror Story has like each season, it has a different story.
Yeah.
So obviously I like something like a horror thriller.
Okay.
As I said, American Horror Story.
Yeah,
But
see, we could kick it. I almost screamed like in the middle of you saying that. Yes, work it out.
yes, they need to do a one with about, well, they kind of did, what was not the Coven, but no, like readers, tarot readers or astrologers or something. Incorporate some of that kind of magic into
No,
their
that
show.
could be pretty creepy. Yeah, they could turn that pretty creepy for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's what I like. I like that genre. There's probably I like that, when they're that psychological, like, am I going kind of crazy kind of movies too?
Mm-hmm.
Like, am I going crazy? Is this like, what's going on with my mind? I like those kind of movies. I don't know what genre that is, but I like it.
Yeah,
So
I think those are thrillers. Thrillers
yeah.
or psychological thrillers like Saw or have you seen Split?
No, I bet my son has Split. Is it on
Yeah,
Netflix?
it's I don't think it's on Netflix. I'm not sure if it's on Netflix, but I know it's on iTunes. Oh my god, you have to watch that. If you like just because of what you mentioned, you totally have to watch that movie. It's so worth it. It is so bugged out. It's really good. I'm not gonna give anything away, but it's good. It's good. You gotta watch
Ooh,
it.
I'm gonna put that on my list. My coworker was just telling me about a Netflix show called Black Mirror. Have you heard of it?
Yes, girl, watch that. What are
That's
you
what
doing
she
if you
told
haven't
me.
watched it yet? Oh my
Yes,
god.
she told me. And you know what? It comes. With Netflix, they'll say you might like this or something like that.
No,
It
watch,
came up
yes,
in my mind.
girl, watch Black Mirror. Okay, yeah, cause so for example, like you said, American Horror Story, like each season is a different topic, like a whole different kind of thing. Well, you watched the Twilight Zone, right?
Yep.
Okay, Black Mirror. The way that I like to describe it is that it's like a modern day Twilight Zone. So each
Nice.
episode has nothing to do with the other. Each episode is its own individual story.
That's like heaven. I don't
Okay,
know
no,
why.
you seriously, you need to start watching it and then you need to report back to me and just go, I just watched this one, whatever, whatever, whatever. Yeah, please, because I like the excitement of other people watching shows that I like. The one that blew my mind, oh man, they're all really, really good though. I think the one that blew my mind the most was probably 15 Million Merits. I don't know why.
Ooh, I wonder if she told me. Yeah, she was telling me about her favorites too. I wonder if it's the same ones that y'all
It
are.
is hard because I really enjoy them all. Like I'll sit there and like just watch. I'll just watch them again. I might just start watching them all over again because they just finished coming out with the latest season, which was out of control. It was so good. Anyways, girl, yeah, watch it. This has nothing to do with tarot, y'all. I'm sorry.
Sorry, y'all. Netflixing. We're Netflixing right
These
now.
are okay. Look, Friday Night Love Fest, things we love. I love the horror genre. I love anything that's sci-fi, thriller, all that kind of range there. That's totally my jam. Like I'm about that life.
I
I
love that.
can't like fall asleep on it and like not have a nightmare.
Thank you. Thank you. You and I are, yeah, meant to be. Like some people, how could you fall asleep? I've been watching horror since I was 4 years old when
Right here.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yes, girl, work it out. Okay, tell me that Nightmare on Elm Street, the third one, is not the
Oh,
one that prepared you to deal with your nightmares. That's
that's
the one
right.
that trained you to not be scared,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Dream Warriors, I think it was called.
It was the Dream Warriors. The second one kind of scared me too. I think it was the school bus scene that kind of freaked me out a little. I think, is that the school bus scene in the second one? Did you see the second one?
I've seen them all, yeah.
Woo! I don't like that school bus to hell thought, where you on the school bus. I'm like, I just want to get off. No, Nightmare on Elm Street, number 3 was scary to me. Number 1 for sure, obviously.
The third one for me was like training. Like I was so young. I was like 5 or 6 or something like that. So for me, it was like training. It was like, okay, So if I watch something scary and I have a nightmare, right? This is me trying to figure it out. Then the way not to, I mean, they would say don't fall asleep, but then it was like they had to have magical powers in their dreams and
That's
all
right.
that kind of stuff. It works, people. Try
it. That's right. And you can control your dream situation.
Yeah.
Like I learned how to steer my dreams from Nightmare on Elm Street because
I learned how to have magical powers in my dreams because of Nightmare on Elm Street. So this is why moving forward, I never had any nightmares based on scary movies. The only ones that might freak me out a little bit are the psychological thrillers, things that can happen. So things that are like fictitious, like Chucky, or something that's really, really out far-fetched fictitious, that doesn't bother me at all. But something that's like a psychological thriller, like Saw, that like revved me up. It had been a really long time since a movie really just like jarred me, like, oh, that is some sick and twisted, and that could happen to anybody.
That's right.
This could happen to anybody because nobody would ever know. It's so underground and all this other kind of stuff there. So things like that freaks me out. Like Hostel and stuff like that. Okay, yeah, that
Yeah.
But I mean, I still don't have nightmares, but at least in my waking world, it's still like does something to me, like, man, that's so crazy, like. But yeah,
it's like, woo, yeah, like even some of those. Okay, this is also a crazy ass genre that I'm into, and I promise you guys, I'm sorry, I love genres talk, but like when they're like those survival, like, but it's when they kind of combine horror, and it's on Netflix. There's a couple of Netflix movies like this where they kind of combine horror / survival, like people like young people. We're gonna go on a hike today in these beautiful like mountains, and then there's like some like weird ass like I don't know, people who are crossbred. Oh, God, even that movie.
The Hills Have Eyes.
Yeah, maybe The Hills Have.
I'm telling you, I'll be watching them things. The Hills Have Eyes. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and they're like sliding down hills, because I've had moments where I've like been on like a semi, like, oh my God, I shouldn't be alive moment, like that television show that used to come on, I shouldn't be alive, and you're like, oh shit, like, but there's vultures like flying over me. I've had like one of those moments before. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna fucking die.
Yeah.
So when they combine that with a little horror too, like I just, that scares me. I don't even know.
Yeah. Watch Black Mirror, man. I'm telling you right now. Get the popcorn. Get your, you know what? I think you said you're off on Monday. Binge it. Just binge it.
That's my birthday gift to myself.
I'm going to be on standby. So if you have like those moments where you're like, oh my God, whatever, like I'll be there, like for sure. Because
Thank you.
That's the best right there.
I need that.
You need somebody to share those moments with, like those little mini, like, but yeah, it's really dope because it doesn't try to be like exactly like the Twilight Zone. It's definitely its own thing, but like I said, it's like a modern day kind of rendition of it, kind of more utilizing the progressive minds that we have now versus like what they had back when the Twilight Zone was created. They really didn't have computers like that and things, but they still did what they did at their time. Now the Black Mirror is doing what they're doing with our time, and it's yes.
Yeah.
I love, just put it.
I am so okay. Good. So that's it. Black Mirror is on my watch this weekend. It's gonna be
bumped up to the top of the list.
It's bumped up to the top.
You can watch any episode in any order, pretty much, and you'd be fine. Just because they're not sequential.
That's what I appreciate. That's what I appreciate about any of those anthology kind of, like with Twilight Zone or with American Horror Story, it's like a whole season, but with like Twilight Zone, it's episode, and I love that. Yeah. I guess my attention span, I need to work on that. I guess I like it. I need to change.
Oh my God.
Yes. How are you doing? I'm holding in. I'm going to have to take a little ladies' room. How are you doing? I'm at the rest of the ladies' room because my Moscow Mule ran right through me.
Oh, no, I'm good. Are you
tired? Because you're East Coast. Folks, My friend is East Coast. It's 10 o'clock here. So it's like prime time for me.
It's like here. The club will be out in 1 hour.
Hey! The club is out in 1 hour. Oh, that got me all thinking about that too. Like, how late do you guys your club stay open till?
I think till 2.
Okay, I think that's about out here
around
too.
Around here, I think till 2. That's typically the time they start trying to wrap things up. Like, all right, folks.
Yep, last call, everyone. You gotta get your drink in. Yep. That's the thing out here, at least. Last call at 1:30. It's like the party's just cranking and getting started at 1:30. But I don't really go clubbing anymore these days.
No, I haven't gone clubbing in a while.
Yeah.
Like if I want to club, like seriously, like I'll just put on my headphones and just jam out and be my own DJ. Because you know what? Half of the time I can't handle the DJs. Either talk over the good parts or cut out the good parts or no.
Or cut the good song short. I'm like, hello, we were just, don't you see the dance floor jumping? What's going on?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I'm a mess though. I love to dance, so it is a little disheartening when the DJ goes and changes it up. It's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah. I am my best DJ too, I think.
Yeah, it's hard when you have your certain DJs that you like to listen to where they're cutting the music a certain kind of way that it works for you, and it, then if they change up the DJ on you, it's just a bad night.
Yeah. I'm like, ooh. Then you start to notice my feet are hurting. See, a good DJ, you won't notice that your feet are hurting. You just don't feel no pain. You just dancing the night away. A bad DJ, you notice every damn ache. It's like, oh, that person done bumped into me one more damn time. It's just like DJ makes the night. DJ makes the night. So yes, I am going to, if you don't mind, I'm going to run to the ladies' room and like do it in record time.
Go ahead.
Like I've been known to like people are like, what?
You're good.
How'd you do that? I'll be right back, y'all.
All right. So the one thing about dancing, I guess I was gonna say that music is one of those things that I feel like, I guess because the topic is supposed to be love, right? We're talking about things that we love. Like I know I love dancing too, and I just feel like the bass is like it almost like it acted. It's like if you ever watch Jurassic Park, when the dinosaurs are like walking and like the water rumbles, it's like the bass does that to like our eardrum or something like that, and it just like it makes us want to move. It makes us. And it just shakes it up. Like if you've ever been feeling stagnant, or if you've ever been feeling maybe some type of like low vibrations or something like that, man, music is life. Music is life. You can watch every good movie, you can listen to every good podcast, but there's nothing like the pure sound of just the beat. And the words to the songs, or a good mix, man, music. I don't know. It just definitely does something to our emotions. It just brings up different kinds of emotions. It just plays on different frequencies within us, and I think it makes us. It can really help elevate our moods when we need it, or put us in a meditative mood if that's what we're looking for. But I'm talking about like some bass and some drums. I don't know. For me, the drums and the bass are like the thing that activate me. It's like that's what gets me wanting to like go out and walk and dance, and it just like knocks out any residual kind of like funk that could be hanging out there, and it just shakes it off. I love it. And that's definitely something too. Like if you don't play music in your house very often, like just playing some music in your house can kind of clean the house out, like vibrational wise. Like you don't necessarily have to have bells. You got to work with the tools that we have to make things work for us. You know. Welcome back.
Thank you. Sorry,
I
y'all.
was just telling our viewers about how music taps into, like, I feel like it taps into that water element in us.
Yes.
You know, and that it is definitely a good thing for raising vibrations, changing vibrations. Like we can go from a high place to a low place with music, but most of the time it's bringing us from a low place to a higher place. And that I feel like that's one thing that I don't care what kind of good movies you're watching, what kind of podcasts you're listening to, there's nothing like a good like soundtrack or a mix or something like that to like really kind of change up and shake up your frequency, basically.
That's the truth. That's the truth. My whole life, dancing and music has been just part of it. It's definitely tied, like you said, to that watery, that emotional energy, that fluid energy, that connected energy. You know, it's just, I don't know. It's just been my experience, and I just can't imagine life without it. But there's people on this planet who could go their whole life without dancing. Can you believe that? I'm like, not me. Every day there's a dancing situation going on in my cubicle. Every day there's like a little, I did it, y'all. Or music. They let us play music or like listen to our headphones at work and, you know, or play music at our desk. And I'm just grateful for it because I have to have that rhythm just moving, you know, I don't know. You probably can eloquently speak on it right now than I can.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was just saying. Like, that's like something that, you know, you'll see on a lot of those like funny videos and stuff like that. Like Hispanic people, like, or Puerto Rican people, when they're cleaning the house, they have like the music really loud and stuff like that. And that's the truth. Like, when we grew up, anytime music was on loud and it was like daytime, it was cleaning time, because it wasn't like we were just cleaning, we were kind of dancing, like we were listening to the music, and because it gets you moving, you don't really notice that you're doing so much so fast, and so then everything's clean, and then after that, then you could just dance in a clean house.
Nice.
And listen to your music, you know. Like you could even test it out for yourself, try to clean, you know, like do the dishes in complete silence, and then throw on some music and see how quickly it'll take you to do the dishes from listening to music versus, you know, doing it in complete silence. Like, it's just amazing.
It is. It is amazing. It's like when they say that song, that famous song, "Music Makes the World Go Round." I do. It's just like it's our universal language for our body, our mind, our spirit.
Yes.
And I love that. Like you said, cleaning. That's what we've been trying to do. We have family clean day at our house with the kids. And my husband's been trying to put music on and it does make a difference. You're right. Like we all, like even me with like, damn, we're on Sunday morning cleaning. Oh God, you know, but with the music playing, it's almost like you changes it on purpose. Yeah. It's like, yeah. And I need all the help I can get with chores because I'm not quite ready yet to hire a maid. My budget says, no, you like decks too much to hire someone. Only scrub them floors yourself, girlfriend.
Yeah. And whatever album, whatever mix, whatever it is that like gets you on, like gets you moving, like that's what you need to be playing. No slow jams and none of that stuff, because you'll be stopping and going like, you know, trying to sing. No, none of that. You need like dance move, kind of like, you know, I'm all thinking 90s R&B hip hop vibes, you know what I'm saying? Like those kind of vibes. Like those are good. You could kind of dance and swing to the next room and then just keep like going and stuff. But I don't know. Any kind of up-tempo music really works for me though. Hip hop, freestyle. Oh my god. Throwback me Spanish music, salsa, whatever. I'm pretty eclectic though when it comes to music. So as long as it's upbeat, I'll clean to it.
Yeah.
If it's sing-songy, then I'll kind of stop and try to pretend I'm lip singing to it. So I get nothing done with that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, can't bust out. Yeah, like with a Whitney Houston song, trying to clean, unless it's one of her 80s pop songs. Yeah, I gotta be able to have something. My music taste is definitely eclectic. Oh my gosh. I like all the things you mentioned. And I like house, like deep house music. Which I'm like the only one in my house who listens to it, which is like kind of like not convenient because everybody else wants to listen to like hip hop. And I'm like, I want to listen to house music. Sorry guys. Like, and then jazz and R&B, hip hop, world music. I love Latin music. Anything with a beat that I can just move to. Give me a beat.
Give me it. Yep, that's what I was saying before. I said, give me the bass and the drums. It's all about the bass and the drum. Like, especially for like cleaning or walking, or like for changing my mood from something kind of low vibration up to a higher vibration, is like the bass and the drums. Like, it's all about that. If that's not there, because like jazz is cool. I love jazz, but jazz for me is more like, I feel that's for me like I'm done cleaning. I'm chilling now. I'm sitting my butt down and I'm just gonna vibe out to these like tunes that are kind of up here, but like the drum and the bass, it hits you where your body has to do something. It's like, move your mother ass and do something with yourself. Yeah.
Now it's making me want to like, I wish I could find a song. I'm like, I'm going to dance.
So funny.
Need to dance. Need to dance. That's the thing. People meeting or love in the club. You ever met anyone that you had a serious, like, long relationship after meeting in the club?
No, because I never went to the club to look for anybody to be with. I went to the clubs to listen to the music. I was literally there for the music and the people I was with, like that I came to the club with. Like no. Even when I was younger, I knew that right away, and it's because it's not the kind of environment that you really. I don't know. It's too loud. It's too loud to even hold a regular conversation. So if I can't get that first conversation off the floor, then no.
Yeah. I like what you said too. Like, I'm going there for the night, going there with my friends, going there for the music and the experience. I'm not, going there. I can safely say that, yes, I've never met a long lasting relationship in the club.
No, I never even bothered.
No, sadly, I had someone slip a Mickey in my drink in the club. Oh, wow. And that kind of like soured me like the club experience after that. I was like, really? In my local town too. Wow. I've clubbed in like Vegas and San Francisco and places where it's like, okay, it can be risky. They even had warnings in Vegas, like on the news about people getting, slip drinks or whatever. But it was just out here in Sac, just some weirdo. And thankfully I was with my friends. Otherwise, Lord knows what would have happened. But
right. Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. So y'all be safe out there at the club. Sure. That's all I'm going to say. And I have my drink in my, it's so sad. I have my little drink in the hand the whole night, but I'm just like, I thought I had it in my hand the whole night. Maybe I didn't.
But that's the thing though, like when you're in a club situation, it's just so many bodies in one place. You can't have your eyes where everybody's hands are all the time. And I know that sounds weird to say it that way, but like it could happen.
Yep. And they could be just like right there and you don't even know, like right there in the club. And I always prided myself on going just for the night, just having fun. But then some guy's like, oh, I want to get on that fun too. And like, the only way I can get her is let me slip something in her drink. Like, God. Like, folks. So, yeah. I'll have my parties at home. Thank you very much.
That's crazy.
It is crazy and ridiculous. People can't even go out and just have a good old time.
That's a sad truth.
Yeah. Just have a good old time. But I know I was hoping folks would, our one viewer, have a question for the tarot or astrology. I mean, because I could talk all sorts of pop culture all night.
I know, right?
Netflix, I'm like, oh, Netflix and dancing. I know I was going to try and, no, it's probably copyright something or another. I want to like have like a little song in the background. Feels like live video should have like, we should have like a little music or something.
Some kind of little like what do they call it? Like embed music.
Yes.
Yeah.
Although I haven't.
They should allow that. Yeah, I agree.
Should allow that, but it's okay. And I'm like, what else has been going on in the love news? No? Are you doing anything for Valentine's Day?
It lands on a Wednesday.
Yes, in the middle of the week.
So either doing something this weekend or next weekend.
That's it. Yep. That's it. You know, love, it can be celebrated anytime.
I'm weird like that though. If something lands like in the middle of the week, unless it's Halloween, I'll celebrate it on the weekend. If like depending on what it is. Like if it's not like, because Valentine's Day, right? It's everybody recognizes it, but nobody ever has the day off. It's not a paid holiday. So True. If it's one of those kind of holidays where you don't get paid for it to be off and things like that, or it's not, you understand what I'm trying to say. Then I'll just celebrate it on whatever weekend.
Yep. So it's like when it's not.
If I decide to, because most of the time, the way that I decide to celebrate things is by saying, I'm not going to do shit today. And I'm going to sit here and just bum out at the house and like not do nothing because it's resting. And so that I celebrate by resting. It's the weirdest thing, but.
Sounds wonderful to me. I'm glad, like, you call it celebrating. I was like, I'm just not going to deal with it. This is how I'm going to do my holiday. I forgot which holiday it was. I think it was New Year's. Mm-hmm. And people were like, you're not going to put on any clothes for today? No, this is how I'm celebrating. I'm resting.
Yeah.
For New Year's Day. Thank you. Resting. So take it as you must. Some people are like, oh.
I think the only one consistent thing that I do on New Year's is make sure that I have cash in my wallet. That's it.
Like
even if it's $1, just make sure. And like that's the only one consistent that I have on New Year's. So whether I go out or stay in, it's like I'm starting New Year's with money in my wallet, and that's it, you know. And like that's the metaphor.
I like it.
Like to be provided for, like, you know what I mean, and things like that. But that's it. Like that's the only consistent that I have. Other than that, it is what it is.
Yep.
Do you have any kind of anything that you do consistently, like on New Year's, for New Year's?
For New Year's, my parents, for good luck, because they're from the South, or in America, I guess they're from Mississippi in America. So they for good luck make black-eyed peas. I think my dad still does that. I don't really care for black-eyed peas, but they say you're supposed to eat them and it's supposed to be good luck. But the one thing I do that I try to consistently do every year, aside from trying to accommodate eating black-eyed peas somewhere for good luck, is just making sure I'm like checking in with my goals. And I've the last like 3 years or 2 years, excuse me, not 3 years. I've been doing an end of the year ceremony where, and then I welcome in the new year where like I have like my sister and my kids together, and we do like a candle lighting where we're welcoming in 2018, for example, but we've completely said goodbye to 2017 and things we want to release in 2017. Gotcha. And we write them on slips of paper and we burn them, and then we light candles, like all these white candles, and light it up. It's like usually like New Year's Eve would be preferable. And we light it up. And that's the welcoming in of 2018. And so it's like a little tradition I've been doing for my little immediate family for the last couple of years. So I want to continue doing.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's just something. It's like a solid way to say, okay, this is goodbye to this. And it really, for me, psychologically does something where it's like, okay, it is goodbye. And I don't really think about whatever it is I was trying to release. I really release. It's something weird. I don't know. It's like a ceremony thing.
Right. Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
So that's about it. That's consistent aside from me wearing my pajamas and wearing Netflix wearing my pajamas, watching Netflix, trying to say that that's part of my holiday celebration. Yeah. I don't know, but yeah, for Valentine's Day, my husband and I are working. I did not take any time off for Valentine's Day.
Me neither.
We don't do that. Our love is kind of different in that way. I don't know. If we want to celebrate, we celebrate. And it may not be Valentine's Day, a Friday night in May. I don't know. So, and anniversary day. You know what I mean? It's just, I try not to make, like, I know I have things that are precious to us, but like with dates and things like that, I don't know. I'm a little rebellious. I'm like, try to rebel. It's like
Aquarius.
Of course. That's the Aquarian in me.
Well, happy birthday. I'm the first person to talk to you on your birthday. I just realized what time it was. Hey.
Right. In your time zone, it is my birthday. That is the trip. In my time zone, it's still the 9th.
Oh, yeah. There we go. Well, hey, from the future.
I love that. From the damn future. That's they say time and space continuum and all that stuff. It's like, you are in my future.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a friend who lives in Australia. And I used to tell her that, like, that was the joke all the time, was that she's coming to me from the future, you know, and it's so but it's funny, like, yeah.
I like
They're literally
it.
like 12 hours ahead of East Coast time. Hey. So if it's like, yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Like the Aussies though, but they're like literally, like you said, that's like a day for me ahead. Like we're in a whole nother, they're in another day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that always tripped me out, but see, time and space doesn't work quite exactly how we try to compartmentalize it.
No, it doesn't, which I guess for us is a blessing and a curse, depending on how you look at it.
Okay, what is the name of that movie? Hold on. What is the name of that movie? It was a sci-fi movie about the alien. Oh my god, for the life of me. Anyways, there was a concept of it about time and space in there. Not Interstellar. Where the girl was trying to decipher the alien language to communicate with them.
Oh.
All right. Well, never mind. I'll just reach out to you at a different time when I remember the name of it. But yeah, that was a pretty good movie.
It's at the tip of my tongue. I can see it. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, the spaceships were like some weird oblong shape or something like that.
Oh, don't you hate when that happens? I'm like,
Yes, it happens to me all the time.
Yes, it's been happening to me like several times this week where it's like things at the tip of my tongue and I'm like, and it bothers me. It'll bother me until I remember it because then I'm like, damn, I am getting older. Damn, the memory.
I wake up in the middle of the night like from something from like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
oh yeah, that's what I was trying to remember. I think I don't know if it's because I'm getting older or it's because of like stressors.
Probably stressors.
Because like basically we take in so much information nowadays that our brains don't have time to like process. And then
Yeah,
we can't hold all that, like we can hold all that information in, but like at some point we get like short circuit. You know what I mean?
yep. Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Short circuiting out. Or I'm short circuiting out. I'm gonna use that next week.
Mm-hmm. I short circuit out a lot, so it's just part of my rhythm anymore. I'm just like it'll come to me, whatever, moving on.
Yep.
It does frustrate the hell out of me though, I'm not even gonna lie. I get annoyed when my words don't want to come out. I'm like, you know how to speak. You know
Yeah, and you're there. That thought was there fully in its form, right there at the tip of my tongue, and then it just like gone, just off into the Netherlands. I'm like, damn, you were just there. I'm at the tip. A thought, a complete thought. But yeah, it's a lot going on in the world. It is a lot going on. So it's amazing that we all are sane, honestly. Mm-hmm. When you think about it. So I'll cut us some slack collectively. I'm collectively cutting all of us some slack for that because it's a lot going on in the world. In the world, man. Like, oh, thinking. I don't know. Let me look at my little. Like, did we cover my stickies that I can barely understand my own handwriting? It's so ridiculous. Let's see. On another note, yeah, I honestly can't even understand my damn handwriting. Okay. I don't know. Makeup breakups. Talked about. We touched. Oh yeah, making up and breaking up. Just don't do that. Start over new. That's what I'm going to say about makeups and breakups. Just get a reading. Learn that that person is meant, to be with someone else, and you're meant to be with someone else that's even better, and it's going to be all good, and you just trust that. So that takes care. That ticks off that on my little orange list.
Okay, here's an interesting idea or interesting question, I guess. So it's funny, right? Because when I asked you what's your favorite genre of movies, and then you went right into the horror stuff, right? And the whole time, I'm tying this into the whole topic of love here. I just want y'all to know this, okay? Is that when you're young and you watch these kind of like fairy tales, and it's like, oh, everything, is supposed to be happily ever after and all this stuff, but then you watch like the brother or read the Brothers Grimm or watch the series, like even the movies that they've come out with the past like 5 years or so with the fairy tales, like the darker aspects of the fairy tales. And it's just like to say that I think that there is always a light and a dark side to love, or to like, it's easy to fly away with the fantasy of it, what it's supposed to look like, what it's supposed to feel like, versus the reality of it and the trials and tribulations to like get through to the other side. I think
that's true.
That's the silver lining right there when it comes
Yeah.
down to putting it in perspective, because I can talk about like all this horror and genre and things like that, and that's really nothing but a bunch of like shadow work, really, right? Because I'm investigating in my own head, where in my head, why does this trigger me, why does this trigger, maybe it doesn't trigger me but it triggers somebody else, why does that trigger that person, you know what I mean, and things like that. But on the scale of like the fairy tales and the princesses trying to fall in love with the princes, or they're supposed to be saved, like why, okay, explain to me, why do you want to be a Disney princess when basically the whole entire thing is that you're supposed to be saved from some knight in shining armor or something like that, for the most part. And then you expect that to happen in real life, but that's not real life.
That's
Right? You're
right.
feeding a fantasy. The one Disney
Yes.
movie that always fascinated me was always Alice in Wonderland. That was my favorite one, and it was so weird. Like, you know, my parents are like, which one do you want to watch? And I was like, Alice in Wonderland. They're like, again? I'm like, yeah, because it's crazy. She goes down this rabbit hole. I love, you know, I'm young. And I'm just like, and then she meets a what now? And okay, and why is that relevant? You know, and this is me, like, as a child, like, trying to process, like, this is intriguing. What is happening in this world right here, right now? And it was her love of curiosity, or her curiosity, or her, you know, her questioning everything was exactly in tune with my questioning everything and being curious about the world around me, or things that didn't make sense, or finding myself, right? Because that's really what Alice in Wonderland is like, about finding your truth, finding yourself, and all that stuff. All the other ones have that in it, but Alice in Wonderland is kind of void of that aspect.
Yep.
Until the Tim Burton one, which is interesting because then Johnny Depp, or the Mad Hatter, kind of becomes that part of her, like the way that a typical like prince would play a role in a princess type of story.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So besides that, because it is Tim Burton-esque, that's probably like the one thing that kind of threw me off for the Alice in Wonderland in the remakes, was just like, really? Okay, I get it, I guess, but it still throws it off a little bit. You know what I'm
It
saying?
does. Because it
But
was her journey. I like that. I like exactly where you're going with that. It
yeah,
was her journey, and then they want to go and kind of romanticize it a little bit
they
because
kind of romanticized it, not 100% though. So they kind of kept it true to it, but they did kind of just hint at it just a little bit. They just kind of like threw a little salt and pepper on it, like like this could be that kind of sort of. But yeah, it just always kind of baffled me that all these cartoons that were, so like, we're kind of for, I don't know, like we're force fed to watch them when we're kids, and then first they introduce it to us, and then we can't stop watching them and drive the parents crazy, whatever. um that always like interests me. I do like though the more later movies that they have, like Brave was really good, and Frozen was good too, because Frozen, I like how Frozen changed it up at the end, that it was like the true love of the sisters that broke the curse and all that stuff. I thought that was really cool that they kind of changed it up, like from your typical, like, you're
oh,
thinking in your head like, oh, it has to be this guy to meet her there, and really it wasn't that. So I was like, that was a good surprise or whatever. But I'm glad that they're changing that up now. But like when I was growing up, they were mostly like this kind of just this one way of kind of seeing it, and that's what gets drilled into your head, and then that's what you expect it to be like, and then you learn about the world and learn that it's not like that. It's not exactly like that. And the darker remakes of the movies, I really like those, because it brings more of the realness of the scope of the fantasy or the situation to really transpired to be like, okay, this is what somebody was like going through, cats, going through to get out the other side, for it to be kind of like that happy ending and whatnot. So I thought
Mm-hmm.
that was cool.
I agree. I love that too. Like you said, that different narrative where
Yes.
it's not the man comes in, like with Sleeping Beauty, beautiful story, gorgeous story. But there we go again. She's sleeping, waiting for the man to come and kiss her lips and awaken her into, to activate and to do the rest of the story to unfold. And Brave is different. And I love that as we're evolving, as we are, our stories are evolving for our young people, because it's important. Like, I think that's why we're all so jacked up and messed up about it, because they keep showing these same stories about love. And like, yeah, it's frustrating, because it's like, it's the same old narrative, and people are like, when our lives don't fit in that kind of that story, and it's not unfolding the way we think it's supposed to unfold, then we think there's something wrong with the process, and we think there's something wrong with us or ourselves, and it's not. It's
right.
It's just that we're not getting enough different variety of the stories going on, and that's what I want to start doing. I want to start hearing is from other people's love stories, so you could see like, oh, it ain't like what I thought it was, like, right. If that makes any sense, like, different. Let's all start telling our different stories versus oh, he kissed me and awakened me, and now we're moving off into happily ever after. Well, I wish it were that simple. If it were only that simple.
If it were only that simple, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. If it were only like, oh, okay, so wait a minute. Like, I mean, see, my head be going there too. I was just gonna say though, it's like the Sleeping Beauty. Like, I always found that to be a really interesting one, because it's like, okay, so she sleep throughout the whole movie. How do we know that like 100 people didn't kiss her while she was asleep?
Right, that's true.
What in the actual, like, for real?
Oh my God, he slipped her a Mickey. See what I'm saying? Right. I'm so bad.
And then it's like, oh, so when that one person kisses you and they make you feel alive or make you feel awake, like that's the person that, and it's like, nah.
Yep.
That's not how it works.
That's not how it works.
Because first we're running on like hormones and all that stuff when you're younger, and you're gonna feel some type of way with whoever you experiment with at the time, or kiss or whatever. Does that mean that they're, the life partner? Not necessarily. Maybe in some cases, sure, but not always. So, because that brings you to life, and then it's like in your subconscious, in the back of your brain, you've seen Sleeping Beauty 100,000 times, or you've heard the story 100,000 times. So you maybe it's like, oh, okay, you think that that's how it's supposed to be, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's just that. It's just the story.
Yep.
To make who feel better, I don't know. But the basic that I get from the Sleeping Beauty is almost like, shut up and lay down until I tell you to get up. There's an undernote there for that, for young women, and I don't think that it's appropriate. You know what I mean? Like, it's not okay. Like, so I think that's why I find the horror genre real fascinating, because there's no sugarcoating. So when it comes to like any kind of like readings like that, like sometimes I know that there's tender subjects and people feel tender, but I it's hard for me to like, okay, I'm pretty sure 100 people have sympathized with you. Now you need to hear like this direct, like in a direct manner, in this way, and hopefully you learn from it. I don't have to be like your best friend. You don't have to like me after it, but if you can take something away from it and it triggers something in your head to help you move forward from it, because that's, maybe what you were coming for, then I did my job.
Yep. That's so true. I love that. Just taking that in because you're right with the Sleeping Beauty story. All the different things that when you think about it, the undertone, like the messages underneath. You sleep and you wait. You're waiting for someone to come and kiss you and activate you, and that's the story that is always being told. A lot of people waiting for the mate to come to. That's when my life is really gonna pop off and get beautified. And no, that's not it. That's not it at all. Actually, trying to think with Sleeping Beauty. Yeah, they had her cleaning that little cabin, that little house. Trying to remember it. Like, what was she doing before that? Is that no? You know what? I'm so sad. I'm combining like Snow White and Sleeping Beauty. I'm overlapping Snow White story with dwarfs in my mind with Sleeping Beauty. They both had to clean houses, though. That's right. They both had to clean houses, and that's a whole nother. But yeah, you know, those stories, those same stories, those misconceptions that are fed to us over and over about what it should be, what it's supposed to look like, and that's part of the problem.
You know, I promise you, I'm about to go through all these damn stories too, girl, because I'm thinking about Cinderella now, right? Now, Cinderella is the one who was cleaning the house. She had the stepsisters and the stepmother, and she was basically being abused her entire life, right?
Yep.
Emotionally abused, not necessarily physically abused, but emotionally abused. And by some miracle of God, you know, she fit into this glass slipper or whatever the case is. But again, it was kind of like you have to wait for the other shoe to drop.
Yeah.
Here's the wisdom behind all these damn things. I don't know. I'm like a sage today. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, I know for real. But it's like, yeah, it's like you have to wait for the other shoe to drop. You just have to sit there and take abuse when you get abuse.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, no, you don't. No. She was friends with the birds and the mice. She was friends with the in the house, and you are friends with the birds and the motherfucking mice. Oh my God.
Right? No, it's okay. No, I'm about to start. I've been cussing, so it's okay. You're just joining me in the cussing realm. No, it's right. You're right. All she has is the damn mice and the birds to help her try to stay sane in the situation of, like you said, she is emotionally and probably in some cases physically abused. They just didn't really want to tell that story. But you're right. She wasn't.
But she was abused. I mean, essentially, she was living a life of servitude where she shouldn't have been. She wasn't getting paid for her work. She was freaking, you know. And the other thing about it too is that she was like naively in that position, which in most cases, when here's the hard truth, and the hard truth is when you are naively being abused, you don't recognize it as abuse. You recognize it as normalcy. And that's basically how she functioned until she went to that ball and realized that there's a whole different kind of world out there that's glamorous and whatever else that she'd never experienced before.
Wow.
So that's the Cinderella damn story. Yeah.
That's right. So that's the time y'all know this show, behind the scenes, behind the music, behind the story, behind the fairy tales. We're doing behind
the fairy tales.
Yes. Yeah, she goes to the damn ball and she's like, you know what? I haven't been living like rough all this damn time. This is where it's at.
You know,
this is me.
And then the thing is, right, is that, okay, so the prince finds her, she fits in the shoe, and they live happily ever after. But how is he treating her after? We don't know. We don't
Nope.
know. Because she could have woke up and just started cleaning his house. Because
Yep.
that's what her normalcy was. You know
Yep.
what I mean? And maybe he just didn't keep her caged up in a small room. And so she was happy with that. Like, maybe she said, I mean, okay, if he's a prince, he has all the money, whatever. But that's not what I'm talking about. I mean, just like in livelihood, just regular, normal functioning day to day. You know, did she ever get therapy for that? Like, what's up? Happy ending? What's the real tea behind that? Like, what's the real story behind that? You know?
The story behind after the Cinderella, like what really happened, because if the truth be told, Cinderella has a lot of baggage
basically
that's going to be going into that relationship. Mm-hmm. The truth of it is she got a lot of baggage, and will she be all that the prince hoped she would be, or will she be, you know, dealing with like the issues of the scars of being a damn stepchild, abused? It's the story. I mean, that's the story. And this is also so funny. We have to have fairy tales, but maybe we need some real stories now about what really goes on. The fairy tales are great. They're wonderful, but I think we've used the fairy tales, and now we need some real stories to tell our children.
And see, that's the thing too, is that people remember stories. When we go to school, they like want to hit us with all this text, all this like very linear, and some people are great at, you know, maybe processing that, but what people really remember are stories. So fairy tales are naturally stories, but see, I think just like any like fables or like those tall tales and stuff like that, there's some kind of message behind it. Like, these fairy tales have been around forever, and nobody just talks about what is the main damn message of the fairy tale. What is the main message? I don't know why this is just all of a sudden coming to me today, like seriously, but now I'm thinking about it. The Little Mermaid.
Oh, the Little Mermaid.
She
all right, let's
gave
get on
up
the Little
her
Mermaid.
voice to be with a man.
That's right. Bargain and everything.
In a world that she didn't know. So she gave up her fins to get legs, but she gave up her voice in the process. So you can move, but you can't express yourself. Okay. And there was another woman using her voice, using her tactics. Oh my God. I don't know. But I mean, that's the bottom line. The bottom line is she gave away her voice to be with him. Now, whatever the case is, everybody's magical in these movies and all this other kind of stuff. But the realistic part of all of that fantasy is that. So,
Right? Giving up your voice to be in a relationship. I'm going to do everything I can, be quiet, do everything I can to be in this relationship, because that's the epitome of having it all. Having it all and being, and she gives Ursula her voice, or she sacrifices her voice. And what is that telling our young women when you think about that? What do you need your voice for? Well, actually, you need it so you can be able to articulate what it is you want and need in your life. That's why.
And you shouldn't give another person the power over your voice or lack thereof. Like, whether you choose to be silent or choose to express yourself on any kind of subject matter. But you shouldn't, like, it shouldn't be at somebody else's. It's kind of like, we have 9-to-5 jobs, and it's not like we could curse on our 9-to-5 jobs and things like that, right? So we're giving up part of our voice in order to come into this whole new You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's right.
This new world that we have to, like, basically, The Little Mermaid is the working man's fairy tale. You have to give up a part of our voice to somebody. We sign it away because we got to sign stuff to get it done.
Yes.
And in this other person's world, the man's world, working for the man, in the man's world, to you know, to function in there and do whatever. But if something goes wrong or if something happens, we may feel like we don't necessarily have a voice. Not saying that we can't, but we might get fired or whatever the case is. But I mean, there's your metaphor right there. Is that in a lot of cases, and it's not. I don't even think that it's just on women, but just in general, like just for the working man in general. It's like, this is where we're at. This is where you're gonna, like, you know, do whatever you're gonna do, but you have to give up something, and it's almost like you have to give up something in order to get something else. Like, that's kind of like this message that's being perpetuated with that, I think. And that
you just remind me about the contract part. And like, when I think about all these damn fairy tales, like, they were prepping us for like what we were about to be dealing with. Sign away your voice.
It to us hard, and we be up in the job singing Whole New World, like
Whole New World. You said like Whole New World. I love that damn song. I love that song. I love that movie, but you're right. You're right when I think about it. Like, it's kind of like jacked up and, well, I'll say fucked up. I mean, it's like, it's a little scary when you think about it, you know? Like you said, not just love, but every area of our life. What do we give? We have to give up something. You have to give up something, you know, to get something. Really? Do I? Do I?
But you really don't, because now we have the power of the internet and we can all be entrepreneurs if we want to. How about them apples? But they didn't expect that. I'm trying to think of another one.
That's right. And I'm like, okay, so we had, trying to think of, okay, so we had Sleeping Beauty, so kind of touched upon Snow White, Little Mermaid, which was an 80s cartoon, but still same, like, okay, kind of putting a little mind control with their little fairy tale. I think, let's see. I don't know. Kind of like Lady and the Tramp. Lady and the Tramp, little dogs. The lady. Okay, she was like, okay, look, you got to step to me correct. The little poodle dog, and then the male dogs. So that one was kind of modern day, kind of like, okay, you know, but it was dogs. It wasn't humans. And I'm like, let's see, are there any human love fairy tales? Beast, kind of like Beauty and the Beast. She came and helped him, and she found the beauty in his. It's kind of beautiful. But, gosh, ooh, guys.
You're right over there.
I just feel all over myself. I'm all right. We're not. All right. Beauty and the Beast. Yes. Beauty and the Beast. Love that one. What I love about it. Oh, Gaston. The cocky guy, and then the Beast. And I like the Beast because he was an asshole, you know, and then because he had to be an asshole because he went through some things, you know.
Yeah, but his nature screwed everybody around him.
True. Like, that's right. That's how he got
life lessons. Somebody can be so toxic that they can affect everybody in their immediate circumference. And it really does have that much of a ripple effect.
That's true. Even like all
no matter how genuinely like sorry they are for it, it can't magically come back to life like in Beauty and the Beast. It's always going to be a scar or a memory on those other people that were affected by it.
Oh, I love that. That's so true. That's true. I like that about Beauty and the Beast. Because, like, yeah, with the little Mrs. Teacup and her little baby and then all of the other inanimate objects, they were all affected by his cockiness, his whole, how he rolled. That is so, well, that's deep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Yeah, exactly. And the thing is I like that you use that word specifically, inanimate objects, because the thing is that they were not. And people who are really arrogant or really egotistical or a-holes, however you want to say it, anywhere in those toxic kind of parameters will treat other people like inanimate objects.
Yep.
And it will affect their lives. And they may choose to stay around, or they might end up being part of it just because they were in the vicinity of the person, not necessarily like they were best friends with them. And that happens. And like I said, even if that core person learns their ways and tries to make atonement with everything, it'll take, one, a really long ass time. Two, it's still not gonna take the chip off of everybody's shoulder.
That's right.
Chip, the cup chip. That's why he was amazing.
Oh, little Chip. That's right.
Yeah. You know.
That's right.
And Belle came in there and basically, I guess maybe in a different sense, this one was saying, I was gonna say that basically a guy could get like, you know what I'm saying? In that case, so maybe it's also a warning for guys to like, hey, be careful that you go, you know what I'm saying? Because whatever, she tried to help him make atonement for all of that kind of stuff, basically. But then that's also here's the flip side of it, right? So in this particular case, it's almost like that the guy needs the woman to get himself correct. Mm-hmm. And that's not always true. A guy can definitely acknowledge his mistakes and take care of his mistakes without, that outside influence necessarily. If you could recognize it, and this goes for both male and female or asexual, doesn't matter, when you can recognize your own faults or whatever and you own up to them and you try to make amends yourself, like the whole point of like the fairy tale of having to need that other person to help you with it is not necessarily always the case. I guess that's case in point right there.
Yeah. Boom. But that's true. That's right. Beauty and the Beast. Yeah, because you're right. That's so true. About like female, doesn't matter. That you can have that atonement all on your own. Mm-hmm. Sure, it was beautiful for their story, but it's even more powerful and beautiful when you come to that realization on your own. Mm-hmm. Like, well, it's here, right now. But yeah, damn. When I think about, I like how we doing this like fairy tale thing, because I'm telling of all our love sagas that we be going through, Mm-hmm. I love Beauty and the Beast when it first came out. Like,
oh yeah, it's a great movie.
I was, and I was like, and she's like, oh. Belle was like, oh, I don't want to go over to him.
They really try to make Belle the star character of that, and it's not really about her.
That's right. It's about him. Yeah. And his evolution, and the evolution of the like you said of the little like Mrs. Teapot and Chip and all of them. Mm-hmm. That's a beautiful story. Like, makes me Beauty and the Beast a little bit more than I did when it came, when it originally came out.
I'm trying to think of some other movies that are like not as blatant. Because Pinocchio is one that's blatant. He lies, his nose grows, and all that kind of stuff there.
And he's got the puppet master,
Well, and it's funny because the whole goal for him was he wants to be a real boy. But my God, how much more simple can it be? If you don't lie, you're real. That's it. That's it right there.
You're real. If you don't lie, you're real.
Yeah. That was nice and
that's true.
Straightforward to the point. That one wasn't too hard. Yeah, I'm trying to think of some other ones now. Did I miss any? I did Cinderella, Alice in Wonderland.
I love Alice in Wonderland. We did Sleeping Beauty.
Sleeping Beauty.
We did The Little Mermaid.
Little Mermaid.
Beauty and the Beast. I mean, there's so many of them. I mean, I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. Snow White.
Okay. Wait.
She got her homie.
So Snow White, if I'm remembering correctly, Snow White ate the apple that was poisoned from the Wicked Witch or whatever it was.
Sounding a little Adam and Eve.
She went into a sleep. Okay, so it's kind of similar like Sleeping Beauty, right? Because she was basically poisoned and okay, yeah. Only thing that I don't understand about Snow White, and maybe I haven't learned this life lesson yet, so maybe that's why I don't understand it, is the 7 dwarves. What's up? They're supposed to guard her or something? I can't remember. I like the story's fuzzy for some reason.
With the 7 dwarves, oh gosh. Okay, so how did she come upon them? So there's the Wicked Witch. So that's one part of it. There's the Wicked Witch. There's also, I guess, her mom or her stepmother or something. Oh, yeah, that's right. The king married this mean-ass lady who can't deal with the fact that she's getting older and not beautiful like Snow White. So now she's trying to steal Snow White's beauty, if the story is coming back to me right. And then they got this apple. Not quite sure how the apple gets in. Not quite, like you said, I'm not quite sure how the dwarves get into the whole situation. I guess they're just in the woods, and she happens to be in the woods. I don't know. But they're her homies eventually. That story is also interesting.
She's throughout most of the movie, though, isn't she? And they're like protecting her.
Oh yeah, she is. Yep, she is sleeping through most of the time, and they're mostly talking about her while she's sleeping, which is interesting as well. I know I was talking to one of my old boss yesterday. We were talking about people needing.
Okay, hold on. Wait, I think I get it. I think I might get it.
I'm sorry, you got it?
You off.
No.
I came to an epiphany, right? Because it's happy, grumpy, dopey, sleepy, bashful, sneezy, doc, or something like that.
Yep. That's right.
Okay, so she was poisoned. This is basically how we deal when we go to the hospital or to the doctor's office. Dopey, sleepy, sneezy, bashful. Like if you're going for like puberty, like during that time, you're bashful, right? You
cover yourself.
And then the doc is the last one. They always say the doc last.
You're right. And grumpy, you are a little grumpy. Having to deal with.
So let me see if I got this right. Perhaps I'm reaching right now. Perhaps the underlying story is about a woman coming of age men not quite understanding what's going on, but just understanding that her emotions are everywhere and that she might need to go see a doctor.
Yeah. Oh gosh, yes.
Mm.
And the only way that she can make it all right.
Yeah, it's either that or she's in a coma and really that the seven dwarves are a figment of her imagination and like different parts of herself, like in a psychological kind of way.
That's right. I totally buy that. And then we go back to the old, like the back when, like her predecessor, Sleeping Beauty, where only the man will take her out of her hallucination dream state that she's in right now.
I think with Sleeping Beauty, she might be okay because she was actually poisoned. So maybe in her head, she's waiting for the doc to like wake her up, but she's like all over the place. I don't know. Like I said, I was reaching for that one a little bit, but I think it kind of makes sense. I'm missing a lot of the story. I haven't seen that one in a while.
I'm liking where you're going with it because it is all those things. Oh, there's the woman. You know, those are all her the shades of a woman.
Right.
If not, and I'm not saying it like, you know what I mean? You know, like when they try to say, oh, a woman's so emotional and she's so like volatile and this or that. That's what I mean by that. Like, bashful, and she's just she's got all her emotions. And so when she's rolling with the dwarfs, that's like all her baggage. Like that's her. That's her. Right. Not so much her little friends. That's her.
Right.
I like where you're going with that.
Yeah, right? I know. That's interesting.
Her. What they've been doing to us all these years. Snow White. I feel like I think we got the big ones: Cinderella, Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, Belle, Ariel from Little Mermaid. There's like there's other ones. I mean, there's like I can't remember, for example, like what was the one with like the little Jasmine?
Aladdin.
I can't even remember Aladdin. I don't remember like those.
Oh, I remember that one.
Make a Wish.
That one, I don't know. I don't know if that one's more about him or more about her. I haven't figured that one out yet.
Trying to remember that one. I just remember
he was like a thief and she was a princess and who was like, you know, she had a good life and all that kind of stuff. And I can't even remember how they like got together. But anyways, he had the genie and I don't even know. Oh, he wanted to be with her, so he was trying to impress her with his wishes from the genie. And he had the magic carpet, and they went on a magic carpet ride. And so, you know, basically she kind of like fell for him and whatever. And she got pissed when she found out that he wasn't really who he said he was in the beginning, or like who he was fronting to be as. And they worked through it, and then they ended up happily ever after. So,
because he was
first impressions. They always say like first impressions are the most like it sticks with you the longest. First impressions of people, but as you get to know people, you actually get to see their true colors, and I think that that's what Aladdin's story is kind of about too, because like the genie was literally trapped as a genie because there's that whole myth there with that, but he freed him at the end of it, which is fine. But the princess fell for the guy, but she already had like an argument with him because basically he was pretending to be something that he wasn't in order to be with her, and pretending to be something you're not to be with somebody is never a good idea. It's just never.
Never, folks. Never.
In whatever level. This one is just on the level of status, basically. I don't know. There's two things. It's like fake it till you make it, and don't always like assume that somebody's first impression is really who they are.
Right. That's right. That's right. Don't take it for face value. I mean, there's probably something else going.
Mm-hmm.
Going on.
I think those are the main ones. I feel like I'm missing a couple.
I know. I feel like I'm missing a couple. I feel like, okay. Oh, Rapunzel. Let down your golden hair. Rapunzel. She's in a tower waiting to be rescued, though. Waiting to be rescued, and then her long ass hair, like to kind of help. There's some layers to that one. I hate to say, with the hair situation, waiting to be rescued. You know,
the hair situation. I like how you say it.
The hair situation. It didn't have to have this long flowing hair, that's that's bad, and then waiting to be rescued, and it's going to be her hair that saves her. Yeah, to say the hair situation. The waiting to be rescued. Stop waiting to be rescued. Rescue yourself.
She was also that was normal to her because she lived in that tower. I mean, she knew there was something else out there, but it was normal. But that's not normal. She was totally being kept captive by the person who's supposed to be taking care of her, like whoever's supposed to be her caretaker. Like
that's true.
Stepmom or whoever it was.
That was disturbing. I didn't. Yeah, that's disturbing. Oh God, yeah, you're right.
And also, wouldn't letting somebody grow their hair that long be some kind of a hazard of some sort?
Oh yeah, it totally would. But again, they have to make the point, proper young girls let their hair grow long and flowing, no matter how inconvenient it can be. You gotta grow your hair flowing and long.
And then it places value on the length of your hair.
Yep.
Because by some miracle of God, we're gonna be trapped in a tower at some point in our lives, and we're gonna need this mother effort to climb up the rope.
Yeah, you gotta climb up.
That's gonna be able to sustain that snap, though, right? Basically, let him snap your neck. That's what they're basically saying. Okay, now I'm sorry, I'm being a little morbid right now. I'm just.
It's true. It's so
she's
funny.
Like 115 pounds, and we don't even know how heavy dude is. Like at least 2 and change, just like 100 pounds more than you. You think your neck is gonna sustain that pressure?
Yeah, but see, no worry about it. A woman's, she can be put out, including a broken neck. She can. That's okay. It's like crazy.
That's too much.
I did like Rapunzel, or not Rapunzel, Rumpelstiltskin's story.
Mm-hmm.
I like that story because, there's a little negotiation going on, a little like he's like, yeah, I'll do this for you, you do this for me, and she's like, look, okay, I'm about to beat him at his little game. So I did like Rumpelstiltskin. The reason I thought of Rumpelstiltskin is because it's kind of like Rapunzel. And those two, to me, I was probably learning both of those stories at the same time. Rapunzel and Rumpelstiltskin. But I like that. She they both ran game on each other, essentially. Rumpelstiltskin coming up with, coming into the little castle, or, the whole story, trying to sell her a dream. And then she ran some game on him. And I love a story that a woman runs game on somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
So
you watched Once Upon a Time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love how they did that show. I think they did a really good job with remixing the fairy tales and stuff like and integrating their stories more. Oh, Little Red Riding Hood.
Oh, Little Red Riding Hood. Yes. That's my other jam. Like a little girl that outsmarts the situation. Not that a little boy could totally outsmart the situation, like in Hansel and Gretel. But, for little girls, it's nice, Fixing my little backrest chair support. Sorry, guys.
But who lets their kid walk like 10 miles knowing the threat is out there?
Right. Almost like that story, Hansel and Gretel, that one's kind of disturbing. That one's a little disturbing. It's not a love story like a husband, like not husband, wife, but a romantic, but it's like a brother, sister kind of, I got your back kind of love. Mm-hmm. And like, I got life's back kind of love because this witch is after us and she kind of betrayed us with this damn gingerbread house kind of situation.
Temptation for the shared. Okay. Because it's like you said, it's like about sibling love, right? You and your peers, you and your best friend, you and your brother, you and your cousins, anybody that's like the same kind of age ranges, you are going to have similar things that you're into, similar temptations. And if somebody who can recognize what those temptations are can blindside you both if you're not careful.
Yes.
There. That, they say two heads are better than one, which is true. I mean, it works out for them at the end, but the whole point is that somebody can still get in because they can find your weak spot.
And did she find their weak spot? A sweet spot.
Mostly every American, when it comes to Valentine's Day, gets their weak spot because of the damn chocolate. This is a classic Lady Witch and Hansel and Gretel story.
Yep.
Every year on Valentine's.
Every year, y'all. Every year, our weak spot in America is chocolate. I'm telling you. Like, we have people in our office that invest. They must spend. I kid you not. They must spend at least $100 a month on candy. Their job, their unofficial job in the office is to supply everyone with candy. And so I hope those people, because I used to be one of those people and I never got a bonus or anything extra for it, so I stopped doing it. Yeah. But I hope those people are getting some special love in the world because they spend a small fortune because Americans like candy and chocolate and we like it. We like it on a regular basis. Like,
wait, this just really hit me right now that Hansel and Gretel has been a fairy tale for so long, and the culprit, the weakness in that entire story is sugar, and we are a nation full of diabetics.
Yes,
bro.
Yes. Not pretty.
No, that's true. Not even funny.
It's not funny. Like my parents.
The answer is in the story. The answer is in the story. Like the lesson is in the story, and like no lie, because like last year, about a year and a half ago, like I cut out eating so much on the high sugary side. You know what I'm saying? Like really paying attention to what I'm eating and not letting temptation take over. And understanding when to indulge every now and then versus like letting it get away from me. And that's, I think, what Hansel and Gretel is about, is like letting that desire or that temptation like get the best of you.
That's so true.
Having somebody who understands the struggle support you and like getting out of it as well. Come on, America, we can.
Oh, I love that. Oh, I love that. Yeah, because there was brother and sister, and they knew the struggle. The brother knew the struggle of the sister knew the struggle of the brother, and they together got through the temptation. Temptation. And then they were able to overcome and conquer it and con the witch and then push her into the oven and close the door and turn a new leaf. Oh my God.
Satan.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Like,
back into that burner where you came from. Stop playing in the game.
You're right. Oh, you know where you come from. You know who you are. Damn. That's a trip. Fairy tale wisdom. Like it's so much you can glean from about love and life. It's a trip. It's a trip. I swear, like, man, they don't want me to be like single and free these days. I would be so like ruthless if I was dating nowadays. Then the old Kim was like kind of like, what's going on? He's not in. I don't know why he's not that into me. You heard of that book? He's just not that into me, or he's just not that into you. I think it's just not that into you.
I think that's a line from Sex and the City.
Yeah, it is. It totally is.
Yeah, that's when Carrie's boyfriend Berger, Miranda's asking for his advice because he's the only male at the table, and he said, "I'm gonna give you some straightforward advice. He's just not that into you." She goes, "They're like, no, don't say that to her. Don't say that to her." And she's like, no. This is refreshing. He's just not that into me, and like she was fine with it.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, the clarity.
It was so beautiful. And then the guy Berger, or the writer for Berger's character, forgot his name, wrote the book. He's just not that into you.
Oh, okay.
Changed my life in my 20s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to tell my girlfriends, like my girlfriends who are single now, like I have had sections of girlfriends, like different stages. And so I'm in between, like I have my friends who are still single and I have my friends who are solid and married or whatever. And I'm trying to tell my single friends, I'm like, you need to read these books, girls. I mean, they changed my life. It was that book. He's just not that into you. That kind of like opened the door. And then I started reading Why Men Marry Bitches, which was also life-changing. And then the rules books. But now there's like a whole it's like its own genre now about like women and, dating rules. And I'm telling you, if you just go blindly trying to date guys and give up your heart and give up your bedroom and all that stuff, you ain't gonna ever get where you're trying to go. So read the books, ladies. Read those books. Go books. They help me.
Yeah, I haven't really read any of those books. I don't know. I think it was maybe for me, it was just like common sense. Like if it didn't feel right, it just didn't, if it just didn't feel right, like whatever. Like it didn't take me too many lessons to understand what was happening. You know what I mean? But now I'm curious. I mean, I'm older now, but I guess now I'm curious about the books. Like, what do they say, anyways? Well, just out of curiosity, because but it's really interesting because it's like certain books they're good books, but you also have to be at a certain place, before they will register to be some, like, you have to read it at the right time for it to, like, help register that for you or whoever. Some of them are easy reads, but then there's other ones that it's like a little bit of life experience is needed for it to make sense.
So true. That is so true. Like my mom, she like my mom was following the quote unquote rules like her whole life. And so she couldn't understand why I would need to read a book. She's like, what? You need to read a book? It's natural. Like if it's not working, it's not working. But some people like need all the extra help they can get. And then others really don't feel like they have an issue. They just, and that's the frustrating part. It's like, well, and you're right. You're 100% right. You have to be ready to receive that kind of information. But I had gotten to a point in my dating life where I was like, to be a this don't work out. Like if I don't get myself together, I'm going to be a nut because the men that are coming and entering my life is just not what time it is. And so then so it worked out where I could read books and kind of gain that knowledge. But you're right. You have to 100% be ready. You got to be ready for that kind of information, that kind of real information that's coming at you, like the real deal. Like, girl, you're desperate. You're coming off desperate. And so that is kind of hard to receive. It's hard to receive that you're being desperate, but it's necessary if you're trying to get to a certain place. And if your friends ain't telling you, then maybe a book can help you realize that you're getting there.
Sure, it can help you with the self-realization or the self-actualization of the core, basically getting to the core of the situation. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I know. You know what's a trip? It's like I've been using. I know a lot of people have decks, but her Romance Angels Oracle.
I like that deck.
This deck. I like this deck. You know, there's a couple of her decks. Girl, I see you. Like, what I like about it is like some of her cards are like very not, you know, they'd be like, oh, it's so flowery. It's so like this or that. No, like she has one separation. That's not flowery. Free yourself.
Well, that deck is very specific though towards it. Actually, that's a good deck to pull out for love reading. I could use like a regular Rider-Waite and then accent it with that deck. And it's usually pretty spot on. I think I only own 2. That one I picked up myself, and then I got the Ascended Masters.
Nice.
That was gifted to me. So those are the only 2 of hers that I own, but they're good tools. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because some of her other decks, like I have a few of her Butterfly Oracle surprised me too. It's pictures of butterflies, but strangely enough, it works for me. I don't understand why, but I know what it is. It's her keywords in her guidebook in that deck. That's why it works. Butterflies, maybe not so much, but the keywords, totally love that. And then same thing with this one. Like she's like, keep an open mind. I can work with that.
Right.
Reconciliation. So yeah, I like that it's specific to love. I like pulling this one out when I want to do a quick, like, let me do a quick little check-in. And it accents, like you said, like the Rider-Waite, it accents a tarot deck nicely. It'll like if the reading said something, it'll punctuate it. It'll be like, it punctuates it.
Yeah.
Which I like. I like that about it. And I know she goes through her own spiritual journey, Miss Doreen Virtue. You know, go on with your spiritual journey. Sorry, the Moscow Mule. Oh my goodness, this is always so much fun. I like it. It's so much fun getting together with you. I love you too for that, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Just, yeah. I get to hang with people, like-minded people in the world. Otherwise, I don't know. Who would I be hanging with on a Friday night? Or Saturday morning, and in your case. Friday night still for me. Almost. I'm looking at the clock.
Getting there.
I know you're probably super tired.
I am, but it's okay.
No.
Can't tell. You can't.
I can't tell, but energetically, I'm
Yeah.
like,
Well, last time I drank a thing of coffee, but I
that was
didn't
your
drink
secret.
coffee today. I was like, I'm not drinking coffee today. I'm just gonna go on my like delirious kind of rants that I do because that's part of my part of my personality too. You get like the coffee me, and then you could get like the slap happy me. That's what happened with the fairy tales there.
I loved it. I love going on that journey with you. The fairy tale journey we could do.
Yeah.
That was fun. But I feel you too. It's like there's I'm gonna go on the sleepy high kind of journey.
Yeah.
I think I drank some coffee last time when we did our first live too. I think I did drink some coffee. I was worn out though. I looked at that video later. I was like, oh my gosh, I have bags. I have bags now, but I have serious bags. That first video that we did together.
Yeah.
But I had coffee. And
Yeah,
now
I had coffee. I had coffee too. I was like, we were like, we're gonna do this. We're gonna fuel ourselves up and everything and make
yeah,
sure it happens.
we tried, we did it.
Yeah.
And now I realize I'm like, unless I'm gonna have to do research on trying to do it on different devices, but my laptop seems to be the most friendliest, of course. It's my comfort zone. So of course it would be my comfort zone in technology.
Yeah.
Tried. Yeah, I tried. I don't know. So what time is it on the in your time zone? Scared to ask you.
2:32.
Shit. It's
Damn, the
11:30.
last time that I looked, it had just turned 12, didn't it?
Yes. It was just about 9 something, like not too long ago. I'm like, I don't understand where the time went. I could talk to you forever.
Time flies when you're having fun, I guess.
Hell yeah.
Oh my god, how in the hell did it get to 2:32?
I don't know. I don't know. I literally lost track of time. I'm like looking around, like
Same is gonna be like the live 5 hours.
yeah,
We're
doing a record. Yeah, we're doing like Truth and Story when she did for her New Year's thing. I don't even know. I didn't watch the whole thing, but yeah, ours is gonna be like 6 hours long.
Oh my god, we're like putting in work, y'all.
Yeah, putting in work. Love chats, love knowledge on y'all for this early Valentine's Eve kind of situation going on. We're trying. Yeah. No, I was hoping to do a reading for someone, but that's okay. I'll save my little readings, save my reading energy for another time. Take a little reprieve.
So this is is this the first or the second Friday of the month?
This is, I can look at my calendar. It is, God, why can't I know this? Like off the top of my head, I should
look
know
at the
this.
calendar every single day and I still don't know.
It is the second Saturday, or excuse me, Saturday, Friday.
Second one.
Yes. Second weekend, I'll say. Yes, the first one.
If you want, maybe we could just do these every second Friday of the month. Because the first Friday, that's always real hectic because rent and errands and all that kind of stuff. But the second Friday, that could probably be a regular. And the reason why I'm even bringing it up is so anybody who wants to watch, like, there's at least some kind of a schedule of some sort that they can, know like, oh, okay, it's the second Friday or whatever, if they want to be there live, and then they can ask questions, or just chit chat back with us and things like that. I'm totally down for that.
I love that. I love that idea. I love that. Second Fridays. We do second Friday nights. And that's that's our regular schedule. Come join us for second Fridays. I love that. That works for me. Nice round number.
High priestess vibes.
Hell yeah. Like, I like high priestess vibes. So yeah, I like that. Yeah, I'm game.
Okay. I am. Sounds good.
Yeah. Sure. Aw, it was so awesome hanging out with you. Oh my goodness.
Likewise.
It's like my sister from another mister, sister from another coast. Like So yeah, second Fridays, y'all, check us out. We're gonna make this a regular thing and see what's up in our world. What's going on?
And it'll get more streamlined with time. But I hope y'all enjoyed the fairy tale. I don't even know what to call that. The fairy tale fallouts or something.
Yes. We'll do a little analyzation on the fairy tales. I loved it. Loved it. Thank you all for joining us. This is fun. I know probably a lot of you will be watching it after the live stream, and that's okay too. Chime in, give us your comments. We'll be peeking in and taking a look at it. But absolutely, this is fun. I love this kind of stuff. So
my cats are sitting there whining now, like, okay, come on, it's
I know they're
here long enough. Are you alive?
Yeah, come out, come play with me, come rest with me. Rest. You need rest.
Yeah, for sure.
I better keep my ass to sleep too, even though I'm like, oh, it's only 11 something. I need to go to bed too.
Watch Black Mirror though.
Oh, yes. Girl, yes. I see my TV right here from this angle.
Yeah.
There is some TV watching going on tonight.
Do it. And I don't care. I'll reply when I wake up to your whatever episode. You just make sure you tell me what episode you're watching so I know where your head is at. Yeah.
Yep. All right, well, all right my girl.
For tuning in. Thank you for spending time with me and chatting with me and, vibing out this Friday night. You are so welcome. Thank you for vibing with me. It was so much fun. Thank you so much. I enjoy spending time with you and all of you all. And yeah, we'll catch up on the next video. How about that? Catch me next month. How about that? Well, yes, indeed. We will catch up with you next month or when we can. How about, yeah, that's what we're going to do. All right. Much love. Many blessings. Bye. Bye, guys. Bye. Let's see if I know how to do this. All right. Bye, guys.